This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, John Bellotti Jr. joins us to review the 1979 cult classic, The Warriors. Plus, we take a look back at the year in movies and TV to pick our best and worst of 2024. John shares details about his next Kaiju Brooklyn event and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Sunday, December 29th, 2024.
Jockin' and nerdin'. Spoiler alert. Jock and nerdin'. That's the theme song. I sang it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We got two guests, special event this week. Joining us first, he is the current leader of the most notorious New York City gang out there, the Felty Footballers. Goes by the street name Dick Cheese, but we call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Well, I'm co-Dick Cheese.
Oh, you're
There's another Dick Cheese as well. We share the title.
Oh, I see you have co-captains. There's two Dick Cheeses. The Felty Footballers, that's that puppet gang that dresses like soccer hooligans, right? I've seen them.
Yeah, we get drunk and then we eject projectiles out of our slack holes. That's our method of in a rumble. That's what we're our go-to move.
I like it.
Sometimes we scream Hadouken just for the fun of it.
Also joining us, he is not a member of a gang, or maybe he is. I don't know. The Kaiju Curmudgeons, possibly. It's a resident, opinionated New Yorker, John Bellotti Jr. What's up, Bellotti?
What's up, man? How you doing, guys?
He owns that little strip of land where they hold Kaiju Brooklyn. That's his territory.
I wish I would not be in Bay Ridge right now.
He's
Bay Ridge,
the mayor
Brooklyn,
of Century City. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
We have to mention
Industry City.
Industry
City. Is that from like some sci-fi?
That's like from a DC Comics. Is that
is DC Comics.
Arrow, Flash. Industry City. But hold on. First of all, we got to say big happy birthday to the Jock and to Bellotti.
Yeah. December birthday.
Tomorrow, baby. Tomorrow.
Happy early birthday to John and happy belated Anthony. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm as old as Imran was when I think this podcast started.
I probably.
Yeah.
Which is
45?
I'm loving.
How old were you when you started, Imran?
I was in my mid-30s.
10 years before this, Imran.
Yeah, come on, Imran. Jesus Christ.
37, 38.
I'm 37 now, so I'm the same age as when you started.
You literally are the same age as when we started, and I'm loving every second of it as you get closer to 40.
I'll give you advice for your late 30s. You'll ease into the 40s nicely. Just don't get injured. Oh my God! Don't get injured after 40. It sucks.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hard to come back.
It's so hard to bounce back. You gotta take like illegal drugs off the dark web just to get better. Don't do it. Like if it's icy out, stay home. Don't.
Stretch.
Don't go up ladders. Use a Theragun.
Start taking the elevator. I don't know.
Yeah, no unnecessary risks.
I don't think we gotta worry with Anthony though.
You never know, Emron. You never know.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yes, that's some advice for growing older.
Any of this.
Right below the speed limit.
All right, look, we got a lot of fun things to do here. We're going to review a cult classic movie and take a look at this past year. Let's get started. The Jock and Nerd podcast. So, I got both of you doing it. That's fantastic. Ooh, look, this being
podcast.
Not a horror podcast. This being the last show we are recording in 2024. Of course, it's tradition.
It's tradition to have Bellotti on. Sorry.
Yes, it's tradition to bring you on and have a look back as we pick our best and worst of things we reviewed.
An old looky back.
From 2024. So here's what we're going to do. I got a list of movies that we reviewed. We're just going to limit it to the movies we reviewed to kind of contain this. And then briefly mention some of the
that were released in 2024.
That were released in 2024, yes.
Yeah.
I had some ones that weren't. We've taken them out. some of the TV shows briefly, but I broke it down in a couple categories. We have the comic book movie category. We have the sci-fi movie category. We have an action category, and then an other. I'm going to read the list, and then we're going to work backwards, and we're going to pick maybe our best and worst comments on these movies. All right, fellas? Make sense?
You got it, dude.
In the comic book category, the movies.
Is that? I feel like that's from Full House.
That is
You
Full
got it,
House.
Anthony.
It is both of the Olsen twins going. How rude.
There's a car
Good one.
in the kitchen.
I remember that one. In the comic book movie category this year brought us Madam Web, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Crow, Joker Folie Ado, Venom the Last Dance, and Kraven the Hunter. All right. In the sci-fi movie category, we reviewed Rebel Moon Part 2, Dune Part 2, Godzilla X Kong, Alien Romulus, Furiosa, A Mad Max Saga, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
All sequels.
Yes, those were all sequels. In the action category, which is surprisingly the largest category we have for this year, we have The Beekeeper, Argyle, Roadhouse, Monkey Man, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, Kill, The Killer's Game, Gladiator 2, Boy Kills World, and The Fall Guy. Big category. And then in other, the leftover movies we reviewed, Civil War from Alex Garland and Beetlejuice.
Gladiator 2 could be its own thing, but yeah, I'll allow it.
See, Gladiator 2, I thought it could be not sci-fi, but it is action, but it could be.
It also is a period.
It's a period
drama.
historic
It's a whole
epic.
bunch of things, but yeah. Well, we can go.
I thought it was easier. So let's start with the other category because it's just Civil War and Beetlejuice.
You know what? That's a good argument. We should move Gladiator over to other.
To other?
Yeah, and Beverly Hills Cop maybe too. No, whatever. All right.
Yeah, keep it as this. We won't fuck with Imran. We fuck with Imran.
Listen, if you wanted to make this thing, you should have done it your fucking self, fellas.
There you go.
That's
We
true.
should have
guys.
said something earlier.
Yes. It's not like I make
It's
these.
too late.
I
We
spent
can't
time.
turn back now.
I made a fucking table in Google Notes and everything. You know how hard that is to find the insert table button?
We can't stop. We have to slow down first.
I got to add a row afterwards.
Can you?
Bellotti, have you
Yeah.
seen Civil War or Beetlejuice?
I've seen Civil War, but not Beetlejuice yet.
Oh,
Of the two, which one do you think is the best?
Obviously, Civil War, because
There
I
you
haven't
go.
seen Beetlejuice yet.
What about the worst?
The worst? On a
Of the
scale
other
of-
category?
Are we doing the worst in each
Yeah,
category?
yeah, we're gonna do the
What's
worst.
the game? Give me the rules.
that's it. Best and worst of each category. There's
Oh,
only
it's going
two,
to be a big list.
so it's de facto. Yeah. Anyways, Civil War. Look, interesting movie. Political movie without actual politics or taking a side. Beetlejuice. This is fun nostalgia. Whatever. It was fine. So we can just move on to the action category, which is way more
Wait,
interesting.
are we not doing everyone?
Do you want to do everyone? I don't think there's. Go ahead, Anthony.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
We can. For best and worst of the other, I was more entertained by Beetlejuice than Civil War, but
Okay.
on the surface, I would say Civil War is a better movie,
Yeah.
meaning Beetlejuice being the worst
Yes,
of the
just
other.
by default. Rugs.
Yeah, I think that both are okay movies. Civil War is arguably the better movie. It works better, I think.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I think Beetlejuice is more entertaining, but I got to give it to Civil War.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. So moving on.
All right.
Action category.
This is the fun one.
This is the fun one. This is the biggest category. Here are the movies again: The Beekeeper, Argyle, Roadhouse, Monkey Man, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, Kill, The Killer's Game, Gladiator 2, Boy Kills World, The Fall Guy. Bellotti, how many of these have you seen?
I've seen The Beekeeper, Roadhouse, Beverly Hills Cop, Gladiator 2, The Search for More Money, and The Fall Guy.
Okay. So we know that. So, Ruggs, let's start with you this time, since you've seen all these movies.
Oh,
Give me your best pick. And
I was
your
going
worst
to back
pick.
cleanup on this
Let's
one.
just do best right now.
The best action movie?
Yeah.
Ooh,
2024 out of these that we reviewed.
man, how do you even? Okay. My pick is going to be The Beekeeper.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think The Beekeeper was a great time at the theater. I could make a case for a lot of other ones. I could make a case for Boy Kills World. I thought that was really good. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know about Gil.
It's Gil.
Gills. It was really good. I wasn't disappointed. The thing is, like, I went pleasantly surprised by both of these movies. So Boy Kills World and Beekeeper are the top for me, I would say. Yeah, and the worst of these, I'm going to say, I'm going to go with Argyle.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think Argyle is like, I was really not liking that movie.
Anthony.
Yes. By the way, Furiosa could be an action movie, but I'm not going to dispute it.
It could.
Sci-fi is good.
But it's a little bit more.
But of this category, I'm similar to Ruggs. I think Beekeeper was the best time out of all of these. I could make a case for Axel F being a surprisingly good time. But the Beekeeper, I mean, you got bee puns, you got Jason Statham, you got him killing those fucking scammers on the internet. Like everyone hates those scammers. That's great. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
Beekeeper #1. Are we doing worst or no?
Do worst. Yeah. Give me the worst.
Okay. I hate to sound like I'm copying the guy, but I'm gonna. The only movie in here that I really, really didn't have a good time at was Argyle.
Yeah.
I thought that one was too stylized. I thought the plot was super confusing. I did not vibe with Argyle at all. Killer's Game, I think, would also be up there.
Yeah.
Movie I didn't really enjoy, but Argyle was definitely the worst.
I think Argyle cost so much more, and it was more disappointing because we didn't expect anything from the Killer's Game.
It was a bigger budget. Yeah, bigger budget, bigger profile movie that just fucking disappointed.
Big director, too.
Yes. Matt Vaughn.
Yep.
Bellotti, you saw The Beekeeper. What would you pick out of the ones you see for these?
So let me preface this with, as a victim of identity theft recently.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Did you just decide to give up your Social Security when they asked for it?
You're not supposed to give them.
Hey, what's your phone number? It's 327.
Birthday? What's birthday?
62.
No, it was stupid. It was like,
was it Liam Neeson?
No, but I was going it happened at work, and I stormed out of work to go to the bank, and they were like, "Where you going?" I'm like, "I gotta go," and it just took off. It was awful. So I like the story of that.
Yeah,
but out of the movies I've seen, on the list, I think The Fall Guy had the best action.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
I was very impressed with the action in that movie because it was like old school big guy action, you know?
It was kind of the point of the movie was to highlight the stuntmen and what's his name does a really good job. Wow. Okay. Worst for you out of the ones you hate?
Out of the ones I've seen, Beekeeper was a beautiful movie. I mean, it looked good. That's tough. I would go with Gladiator 2 because I remember just watching it. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good Denzel movie, but the rest of it is terrible.
Yeah.
And that was annoying because I'm watching it and I'm like, wait, what? Wait, who? Huh? What? So Gladiator 2.
Yeah, that was another big one. All right, I'm going to go.
Imran.
Yeah, go ahead. Look, he made a good argument for The Fall Guy. I really enjoyed Kill. One guy on the train.
Yeah,
that Indian movie, the one long.
I thought about that one too,
but I think I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. The Beekeeper is an amazing throwback to action movies and the character.
Has it come out on streaming yet, where you can watch it for free?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think it's on one of the streamers.
Amazon, I think, right?
So
it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it might be Amazon. It's definitely on one of the streamers. I do want to watch it again. And for worst, absolutely Argyle. That movie just is fucking garbage.
It looked terrible from the trailer. I didn't even bother.
The fucking cat. I don't know what.
He had nothing better to do that weekend, I think.
We're like, I was like, Henry Cavill, this might be something. Sam Jackson's in it. No, not good. But Killer's Game also up there, but a lot smaller profile. Okay. All right. The others were decent. Let's move on to the sci-fi category. This year's movies were Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 2, Dune Part 2, Godzilla X Kong, Alien Romulus, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Bellotti, we're going reverse. How many of these did you see?
I've seen 1, 2, 3. I've seen 4 of these. 4 out of the 6.
And which ones? And which one would be your favorite?
So Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla X Kong, Alien, Furiosa, and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Alrighty.
Favorite is Furiosa by far. By far. Like 6,000 miles by far. Like not even the same galaxy. Worst one? You could put all 3 of them in the fight. No, actually, no, I don't want to say that. Alien is the worst one, followed by Godzilla, followed by Kingdom. In that order.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Kingdom the most out of the rest of them.
You didn't like the bad CG deepfake of what's his name in Alien?
Oh God,
Ian Malcolm.
Yes, Ian Malcolm playing. What's the droid's name? What's the robot's name?
Hicks? No, it's not Hicks.
No, that's
No, what's the droid's name?
Rook.
Rook. Yes.
Yeah. Right?
That was creepy.
Yeah,
It was weird.
he's Rook in this one. He's a different droid, same model but different name.
Yeah. And really, we didn't need to say, get away from her, you bitch. Like, you didn't need to say
God.
that. It's not necessary.
Oh, my soul cringed. My ancestors' souls cringed.
Anthony, let's go to you. What are your picks?
I've seen all these movies. I don't know if you knew that. I was on all these reviews.
You did talk about it.
I'm going to disagree with Bellotti.
Ooh,
I liked Furiosa Mad Max Furiosa. I thought it was really good. But mine, the one I enjoyed the most and had the best time with and was riveted by was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
All right.
Wow,
All right.
really?
I love that movie. I think it's awesome.
Wow.
I love the taking of the world 200 years into the future and the people thinking of Caesar as this mythical thing. And I loved all of that. Kingdom, awesome. Can't wait to see the next one. Worst by far is Rebel Moon Part 2.
Yeah, no question.
It's a horrible movie. It's so bad.
Both parts. And
It's so bad that Snyder made a director's cut of his own movie.
yeah, and and I watch everything, and I even haven't watched. I have
not either.
I'm not giving him another 8 hours. Fuck you. Just.
That's a lot of time to fuck around with.
He's made like 2 directors.
Maybe I'll do it. I don't know when.
Rugs, give me your picks.
I don't know. I feel like the best one, it's a toss up for me between Alien Romulus. No, I'm kidding. Between Dune Part 2 and Furiosa.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up. I can't really decide which I like, but I think as an individual movie, Furiosa works better. You have to watch Dune Part 1 to enjoy Part 2. So I'm gonna push it over to Furiosa as the top one, even though I love Dune Part 2 just as much. And the worst is Rebel Moon. That's a gimme because I don't even know what the fuck he was doing with that movie. I don't even why. It's just a bad movie.
How much did they give him to make that movie?
Several $100 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Give
Almost
me the
$500
money.
million.
Just give me the money.
Yeah.
Just give homeless people that money. That's insane.
Yeah.
For that?
Yeah, those movies are mind-bogglingly bad for all that money that he's spending. All right, my picks. I'm gonna go with for the best. It's kind of a masterpiece. I'm gonna say it. Dune Part 2. For some reason, it's immersive. I remember feeling like I was on Arrakis after the movie ended. The back half has all the action, and Villeneuve. Jesus, he delivered. I watched a lot of behind the scenes, and then worst is Rebel Moon. Absolutely. Furiosa is very good. I did also love Planet of the Apes, and then Godzilla X Kong is, it's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Dune Part 2, I did watch the Dune Prophecy show. I don't know if anybody's interested, Rugs. It's all right.
I gotta watch it. I'm in the middle of watching other stuff now.
There's only 6 episodes.
He's watching other stuff.
Okay, now let's go to our premiere category and easily the roughest category out of all of these. The comic book movies of 2024. And then we got to discuss, Bellotti, I meant to mention this before, this year is a big effect from the writer's strike of 2023.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's why we got such a weird year. We'll discuss that in a second.
Yeah, sure.
Comic book movies again. Madam Web, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Crow, Joker Folie à Deux, Venom, The Last Dance, and Kraven the Hunter. Rugs, let's go backwards.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say the worst has got to be Madam Web for me.
This is a category where it's hard to pick.
There's so many bad ones.
Yes.
The Crow is they're all like tied for the worst. Like Venom is like maybe one. So I want to say Madam Web, The Crow, and Kraven are all tied for the worst.
Absolutely.
Venom is like one step above. And then now it's like it's between Deadpool and Wolverine and Joker 2. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was fun, but I think Joker 2 is actually a better made movie.
What?
But I'm gonna go to Joker 2.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're being serial right now.
Yeah. I'm being serious.
Wow, that's a
32% Rotten Tomatoes movie.
Hell of a take.
That is
I think that a person who's a person could enjoy that movie for what it is. I don't know. Deadpool and Wolverine, you got to kind of know about all the Marvel shit. You can't just like sit grandma down and put Deadpool and Wolverine.
I did wonder if like Joker 2, like years from now, gets like some kind of weird cult status. Or
I feel like I feel like I've seen like other people's take on it that really loved it, and I can understand why they liked it, but because it's subversive, it's a subversive film.
That's streaming on Max now, and I'm kind of want to watch it again.
I don't know if it's. I like it better than Deadpool and Wolverine is a more fun time for me, obviously.
Yeah,
but I think Joker 2 is just a hair as far as a better made film.
Wow, hot take, Bellotti. Let's go to you. Have you seen all of these movies?
So I'm like 80% checked out of the comic book movie stuff right now.
Okay, well,
but I've seen 2 of these movies.
Okay,
The Crow. I will never set my eyeballs on The Crow.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You know,
the right decision.
Yeah, Rug Boy knows. He knows.
Yeah.
Venom, absolutely not. Craven, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I've seen Madam Web. I've seen 30 minutes of Madam Web. Let's say that.
Okay.
I put it on. I tried. I really did. Even as like a background movie, it was not good.
It's hilarious, bro. It's so bad. It's hilarious.
It's just like you watch it and you're like, what is the point? Yeah. So I have to go with Deadpool Wolverine. I just watched it the other day. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's a great time. Yes, Rug Boy is correct. You do need to really see everything to appreciate it. But, you know, again, I've only seen these 2 movies, so that's my pick.
Interesting, Anthony.
I am flabbergasted.
I know. I'm
by
still shocked by that.
Ruggs' analysis of these movies.
Yeah.
So the number one movie, the best time I had at the theaters was Deadpool and Wolverine by far. Yeah. Out of all these movies, Deadpool and Wolverine was so entertaining, a great time, made a ton of money, deserves every bit of it. The worst movie, I was actually pondering putting Joker 2 as the worst.
Yeah, well,
and the reason for that
I
is
can see that.
Yeah,
I have no argument against that.
The reason for that was one of the worst times I've ever had in a movie. It was so boring and so unnecessary. The amount of musicals, it was doing a musical just for the sake of doing a musical without weaving it into the story, and then it had a horrible ending, which makes you.
I agree.
Not even consider that that's the real Joker anymore. So it was just a fucking waste of time. But the movie that I almost talked myself into doing the Joker. The movie that I'm going to say is the worst. It was a toss-up in my head between Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter. Last time we spoke, I said it was Madam Web.
Yeah.
I flip-flopped.
Oh, no.
I now think it's Kraven the Hunter. Because at least Madam Web has, like, so bad it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter is, like, teed up to be a good, at least a solid revenge action flick. With, like, a guy that hunts people and all that shit.
Yeah,
like,
it's simple.
It's easy, and they fucked that up so bad. So bad. So, yeah, and you know, fucking casting Aaron Taylor Johnson as a older Russian, like, that guy should have been a 40-year-old Russian guy. There's so many things wrong with that movie. So, Kraven the Hunter.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to go with Deadpool and Wolverine. It's an achievement. Like Anthony said, it was an event film. I missed those. Marvel had one movie coming out last year. They had one job and they had to deliver, and they pulled it off, and I've watched it again. And it's just fun. It's filthy. It's violent. I love it. For the bottom, yes, I was also conflicted with, I thought about putting Joker 2 at the bottom. I feel like tying the Sony Spider-Man universe as a whole in the bottom. Can I just bring up, did you see this article, what the Sony Pictures CEO, Tony Vinciquerra, said recently, speaking to the Los Angeles Times? Just listen to this for a second. He says Kraven is probably the worst launch we had in the nearly 8 years he's been at the studio. He goes, I still don't understand because the film is not a bad film. Then, talking about Madam Web, he goes, Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, and it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they don't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by the critics in the press for some reason.
That's denial there.
This is the fucking head of Sony. What kind of delusional asshole is this guy? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's just burying your head in the sand.
Yeah.
You could easily just be like, look, we tried and we're working on our quality control because there was zero, clearly, And I've never seen a group of movies that just do the same shitty thing over and over again. Like, it's mind-boggling.
You know, it must suck for him because he's like this big time CEO, and he, like, Bob Iger came out and like pretty much threw all of Marvel under the bus. Do you remember that? Like, remember that? He was like, we were focused on messages and on movies, and
right?
And I was like, damn, Iger. But this guy, I don't know if he's just trying to like show face and be like, I don't know what they're talking about, blah, blah, blah. You know, because he's also answering to the Japanese branch of, like, you know, Big Papa Sony in Japan. So maybe he's got to put on a good face. Either way, it just comes off as like fucking tone deaf, honestly.
Yes. I don't know who he's watching these movies with, who maybe he's surrounded by yes men. Maybe there's money involved on the back end that I don't know. But like, what the fuck, bro? You saw the same movies. So yeah, easily a rough year for the comic book movies.
Pretty bad.
I mean, out of the ones we talked about, they were all only Deadpool and Wolverine on Rotten Tomatoes is a positive score. The others are all green splats and low ones at that. Bellotti, working in the industry, what did we see this year because of the strikes? How much? Because aside from these movies, you had your Borderlands that bombed. You had a couple of other huge bombs throughout the year. What did the strike do?
It delayed a lot of stuff, but there's a lot more going on than just the strikes. The entire landscape of entertainment is changing right now. I mean, like this movie Kill on the list, I didn't even know it existed until I saw this list.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know where you guys kids don't watch TV. Like, kids in their 20s don't watch TV.
Right.
And everyone that's watching TV, like, if you don't see any sort of promoting done on social media by these films, like, I don't know where to see these trailers anymore, aside from like these YouTube drops, right? So everything is completely changing from what we knew. And then Amazon, I just heard recently, we're like, we're going to do streaming. And so, you know what? We're going to release a movie in the theater. So they're like going back to making, like, it's all circling back to what made money.
Yeah.
Because they thought they can change the game, and only Netflix apparently can change the game, no one else. It definitely slowed things down a lot. I mean, you know, I'm on a new job now. I'm on a Dexter show.
Oh yeah, the prequel show. Yeah.
No, it's another one.
Oh shit,
it's another one.
Okay.
Yeah. Won't go into any more detail, but my name got out there in my union that I have this job, and I cannot tell you how many people are reaching out to me, like begging me for work, and it's heartbreaking.
Wow,
it's heartbreaking to say no. And like, they were texting me, like, they would start texting me 7 a.m. They would text me on weekends. I had to stop responding. Like, that's how slow it is right now.
Right. I've heard there's whole like empty studios and shit and stuff. Usually when there's a lot of hustle and bustle on these lots, it's kind of dead.
Yeah. LA is pretty dead from what
crazy.
LA is pretty dead. New York, according to my union rep, he's like, this is the new normal going forward. And I think what happened was, this is how the business was when I got into it 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, there were gaps. You have gaps. And the unions all panicked with the streaming bubble, and they brought all these new members into the business. But now there's no work. So all these people were freaking out because they thought they had this, like, they thought they were going to work year round. And that was never really the case. You're also seeing productions go to other countries where it's cheaper. That's why all the Marvel stuff pulled out of Atlanta.
Yep.
And now they're all in the UK now. I don't even know what's going on in Atlanta. I know they're busy, but it's scary. I'm very, very lucky.
Lots of strip clubs.
Lots of strip clubs, probably.
Yeah.
Lots of strip clubs. A lot of Tyler Perry stuff, probably. He's probably going to buy it all.
Oh, he's buying up towns there. Yeah.
But no, I'm very lucky to be working. But Jesus Christ, the strikes. They're blaming the new contracts across the board on the work slowdown. Or they always want to blame the worker, right? That's what all these CEOs want to do. But as far as these movies, I mean, if you're asking me, did the strikes like affect the release dates? I mean, it definitely affected release dates. But if you look at this list of movies, it looks like an AI algorithm spit out all these titles for the most part.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, aside from Civil War and Monkey Man, what else is really original here? It's all
we've talked about. If you look at the top box office this year, every movie has a number after it.
Yeah, I remember you guys said that. Like, Civil War is literally the only original movie on this list, which is crazy.
Well, The Beekeeper's kind of original. No, you got Beekeeper, Monkey Man.
It's a little John.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's derivative action. But Civil War is the only like artistic expression kind of.
Well, we also don't review a ton of
Right. There were others.
artsy movies.
Yeah.
No, but
Just-
like there used to be like those mid-tier movies, those middle budget movies.
Those are
used
all gone. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have been on your list if they
Yeah.
were released in theaters, like with a proper release. But now they're all. Kevin Smith says something really interesting. I was listening to a podcast with him, and he said all those indie movies, all those indie filmmakers that were pitching movies. His theory is like they're pitching these movies to Netflix, and Netflix is like, why don't you make a show out of this indie film? And that's why he's like, you got these episodes that kind of get drawn out a little bit because they're trying to stretch a 2-hour movie into a 6-hour
Yeah.
movie.
You ever hear about that thing where Netflix is making people write exposition into the dialogue so people can like watch it in the background and
That's
look at
the
it?
dumbest
like
thing that if they're going to start, because they always talk about the second screen experience and how now, and that is a thing that now plays into when you're pitching. How does this work if it's just on in the background? Somebody has a phone out. But if you're going to force writers, what are we going to be? The guy's going to be like, I am grabbing this
I just feel
can
like
of soda.
that's just such desperation.
I am not
I hope it's
drinking the
fake.
soda.
I hope it's
yeah,
fake.
that can't be real. Like
It's like they've just abandoned all artistry at all. They're just like, we need eyeballs and that's it. And then when it gets down to that, you're never going to have anything good anymore.
Well, let me tell you something. Like we started watching Squid Game season 2. We watched Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I don't look at my phone at all because it's good writing. You will never get away from good writing. Like just make something good.
Absolutely.
I know it's I get it. It's a lot harder to do now with there's so much content, but you'll never overcome good writing. So I hope that is fake. I did read that. I didn't read too much of it. But I
believe it.
I do too. There's these studios have tons of mandates and quotas and all sorts of bullshit. I just saw something from Disney. There is this animated movie coming out, I think a Pixar film, and the studio heads or someone told them to make them. It's about a beaver that swaps his brain out with a human, and I think it's like John Hamm is like the beaver. And apparently they told the studio, like the Pixar, to like make it less about environmental concerns and just like a movie. Which, going back to the Bob Iger thing, I could see him like saying like, don't put a message in it, just make a good story. But I think the movie was about environmentalism. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of weird shit going on, and they're afraid. They're scared.
They're all scrambling to try and get big box office, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I just think you got to know your audience and who you're trying to do stuff for. Like there are people who want to go see an environmental film, but it's not going to be a 4-quadrant film,
right?
Unless you disguise it like an Avatar. Like it's barely there. You know what I mean?
But there has to be films made just for entertainment's sake. You know?
Well, they just have to be good films that are going to attract multiple people different people to go see it.
Right.
Like, and if you're doing a genre specific, like you do an action movie, you got to look at that audience. Who's mostly going to see that movie? You got to play to that person, not just like we're going to try to make an action movie, but make it a 4-quadrant action film and throw all this other stuff in there and all these messages and stuff that we need that no one wants to see in their action.
Want to see. This is shit I deal with my show with Kaiju Brooklyn. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I get people applying for the show that do anime work, and I'm like, do I really want to invite them? I'm like, no, like my thing is kaiju. Like that anime has its place. Like so do these movies. They have their place. I'm doing something totally different. Like let's just make a movie about a guy flying a fighter jet into an undisclosed country and dropping a bomb in a really small hole. So,
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, of course.
That's right.
It's a great fucking movie.
It's
because you don't want to know what it does its job.
Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't try and sandwich anything else in there, really.
And they don't tell you they're fighting Iran or North Korea.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Vague
doesn't
country.
matter.
Yeah,
that's the mission.
It leans into the fact that it knows its audience is adrenaline filled, mostly men that want a throwback movie to the 80s, and that's what they did.
Yeah, men don't want messages. Men don't want to talk. They just want stuff to happen.
Yeah, should be a good time, but
they want cool lines that you can repeat later. And they want to see shit blow up, and sometimes in a comical way.
Yes.
No, that's very good insight because yes, so many things have changed. The strike, the way you market things, this TikTok ban, I think has a lot of studios worried. They're pivoting all their social. If you don't have a TikTok ad for your movie, like nobody knows what the fuck it is these days. If that gets banned, but
I think it's good if TikTok gets banned.
It probably should.
I do too.
It probably
because I think that I think that the algorithm has to be more organic and not as.
So that's the fight. Instead, you got people who want to tell a story, a good story, entertaining time, versus people who like, I have this algorithm and we need to hit all these things to get the algorithm to work for us. That's not how you make fucking movies. Let's move on. Wrap this up a little bit with some TV shows, because I feel
Speaking
like
of streamers,
because this year I feel like we had a crazy mix of really good and really bad television as well. And we reviewed a lot of seasons of television. Here's the list of what we reviewed 2024. What if season 2, as season 3 just ended like today? Echo. Remember Echo? That was this year. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters ended in 2024. We got an Invincible season 2, part 2. We got The Acolyte. We got a season 4 of The Boys. We got parts 1 and 2 of Cobra Kai's final season, season 6. We got a second season of House of the Dragon. We had Agatha All Along, The Penguin, X-Men 97. Anthony.
Yes.
Looking at this list, what would you pick as your favorite out of this, the best, and what would you pick as... I think that the bottom is easy in this one.
Yeah, so this actually was a pretty decent year in terms of TV. Now that I'm looking at the list, there were a lot of things that I liked on this list. I could make a case for Cobra Kai just because I love that. I can make a case for House of the Dragon. I could make a case for Invincible. But for me, the winner is The Penguin by far.
Nice.
I think The Penguin was another level in terms of prestige TV. X-Men 97, you can make an argument for.
Yeah.
But The Penguin had that full-on HBO treatment, and I mean that ending is just a gut-wrencher, and the performances, and I was riveted by that show. For the worst of this year, I could make an argument maybe for Echo or Monarch, but there was only one show that I did a weekly Patreon shit-on review of, and that was The Acolyte.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
That's how bad that show was.
That's how bad that show was. So I don't think I can get away from saying The Acolyte was complete shit.
No,
and that was the worst.
That is an accurate. Those are great picks. Rugs, we're gonna go to you.
When you're trying to figure out what's the biggest piece of shit is, you gotta like see what the ingredients are. In Echo, I think they didn't spend as much money as The Acolyte. I think The Acolyte they threw a lot more money at.
Sure.
They had Carrie Ann Moss. They had people in there. A big
Squid
cast.
Game guy.
Oh yeah,
a big cast.
Squid Game guy learns English.
Big effects.
Yeah.
And Echo was like a lower budget,
very small.
Yeah. So and we knew it was gonna suck when we were like, why did you make this? Like no one wanted an Echo series, and it was just bad. It was born to be bad. The Acolyte, though, was like this thing that they thought was going to be good.
Yeah.
They were like, Kathleen Kennedy was like, oh, she was just polishing up her asshole to be like kissed after this. And no one was kissing her ass. Everyone was telling her that, dude, you made the worst Star Wars ever. It was laughably bad. So Acolyte's on the bottom. In the submissive position. I couldn't say that. Submissive position. I'm too drunk to say this. Now, the best, that's a harder call. Anthony said The Penguin, which I agree with. Cobra Kai is also up there. I think that House of the Dragon's also pretty good. I don't think this season was as strong as the last one.
Yeah.
But I do think those are all quality shows. You can't go wrong with them.
Okay. So you kind of tied.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Penguins on top, but they're all pretty good.
Bellotti, which of these have you consumed?
So Echo was this year?
It was.
It was January.
God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Remember they dumped like all 5 episodes at once instead of weekly release because they knew what they
knew.
had. And you had the Kingpin. You had the Kingpin in there and a bunch of other Daredevil parrots and
so
shoots him in the eye.
I started Echo. I did the first episode, and I loved the first episode because it had Daredevil and Fisk in it.
Right.
And the moment she leaves and goes to Oklahoma, I checked out. Like I had no desire or interest to follow this character. It was pointless. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with X-Men 97.
Okay, yeah,
That's
solid
pick.
pick.
Was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Shogun, which I still have to finish for my wife.
Yes, that's a great show.
The first 6 episodes are amazing.
The whole thing's great.
And what else is out? Cobra Kai, obviously. Did not watch Agatha because I didn't have, and I'm definitely not watching Star Wars stuff. Oh my god!
No, you're done. You're done with the
get
Star
shot
Wars.
in the face with the.
Listen,
never mind.
Skeleton Crew is kind of fun though. It's fun. It's like
I won't.
Goonies.
I can't. I just feel like I'm doing something wrong when I watch them. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I feel like I'm in trouble.
What did you think about Monarch? Did you check out Monarch?
No, I don't have Apple. I don't have Apple still.
Okay.
But I do. I am greatly enjoying Squid Game so far and Creature Commandos.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I largely feel the same way you guys do. The bottom, it is Echo is one on the bottom. The Acolyte for me has got to be the worst. The middle, I thought Invincible season 2 still is good. Continuing season 2 part 2, continuing what I love about it. I thought it was interesting that The Boys is kind of becoming what it was parodying in the beginning of the show. So that took a little bit of a dip. Cobra Kai, fantastic. House of the Dragon, fantastic. Agatha, surprisingly, pleasantly good for me. After Echo, we all thought that was going to suck. And I was actually like, they did a good job moving the lore along.
I do think when they make something that you don't want to watch, you end up being like, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
That's a win.
But the Penguin for me out of this list, absolutely number one. I did not think that show was going to be go that hard, be this good. I love the performances, the fucking grittiness. Oh, unbelievable. X-Men 97 also great. Other honorable mentions though, I was going to mention Shogun. We had Fallout this year. I thought
Fallout was great.
I thought that was pretty good. So I thought amongst TV there was more good than bad, but there was some
a lot of good TV out there.
You guys aren't talking about Arcane.
Yes, we had an Arcane season.
Three Body Problem.
Three Body Problem was a great sci-fi show. So Silo, I'm currently watching on Apple TV Plus, is fucking great.
I gotta watch.
Ferguson. It's kind of like Fallout. Silo.
Okay.
But again, the Penguin, give me more of that. That was fucking great season of
Everybody keeps telling me to watch that. I know people that worked on it.
Oh, yeah?
They shot that over here in New York, up in the Bronx, actually. But
yeah, it's good. You like it.
I know, everyone keeps telling me, and then
really good.
Hearing you guys talk. But I mean, I'm not like I like the Batman. I'm not.
It's more like Sopranos, though. It's like Sopranos has a baby with Batman.
I know. Was it Anthony? I think you were saying like you watching it made you want to go and watch the Batman again. And then when I listened to you guys talk about it, I fucking went and watched the Batman again. I did the same shit.
No, exactly.
Speaking of the Batman, this just came out. Matt Reeves announced the Batman sequel has been delayed by another year.
Push it back.
It will be coming out now. It was October 2026. It's coming out October 2027. That's 5 years between the two movies. And apparently they don't have a script. The script is not good, is what James Gunn is saying. But that's kind of
James Gunn?
Well, James Gunn and Matt Reeves.
It's not good?
No, I feel like the script is not done, is what James Gunn is saying. Not to where they want it. But I feel like there's a little bit of a clash. The delay may be because James Gunn is really thinking about bringing Pattinson into his thing. The Brave and the Bold also kind of delayed. And I don't know if
Gunn has said, I said this before, that he's not greenlighting movies until he likes the scripts.
Yeah. But so this
he's like, you need to put a cat in this one.
It's weird because this Clayface movie comes out of nowhere, and like that's probably going to come out before the Batman 2. He liked the script, but do you need another? Is he still casting another Batman for the Batman and Damian Robin movie that he has planned? I don't know. Remember that slate of 10 things? I mean, they've started work on some of them. So.
If I were him, I would figure out a way to. Well, not everyone loves the Batman the way they loved the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I think. For the audience's sake, I think you got to figure out a way to just talk to Matt Reeves and be like, let's just have Pattinson be our Batman.
Oh, okay. In the James Gunn universe.
Yeah. I don't get the logic in making alternate universe movies.
It could easily look as grounded and as gritty as that was. It could easily be incorporated. Possibly into like whatever Superman is, right? It's just a different city. And
Batman doesn't have to be a superhero. He could just waltz in and solve shit and like be helpful and then leave.
Yeah.
And they could literally not even just, I know everyone wants to see Batman crossover, but they could just have Batman hang out in Gotham for a while and never come by until like way later.
Yeah. And it's all the same universe. Why? Although I do want to see the Batman Damian movie.
No, that's a good idea.
That'd be fucking great. But now we got a longer wait for, let's see, Maurice takes his times with these movies. All right, guys, that was fun. Good look back at 2024. Lots to be excited for this year, as Marvel has like 9 things coming out in Superman and all this other stuff. But for right now, we're going to take a break, play some promos, come back, talk about gritty New York City in the 70s.
Still is gritty.
Yes, it's
worse.
It's going back to the Warriors.
We'll talk about it.
That empty though.
It's honestly not the same. The Warriors review right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm Imran.
And I'm Sophia.
I'm the brother.
And I'm the sister. And we are watching a show about cousins.
We're your hosts for Dance of Joy, a Perfect Strangers rewatch podcast.
We grew up watching the 80s hit sitcom, and now we'd like you to join us every week as we rediscover our love for our favorite TV cousins, Balky and Larry.
You can find our show at danceofjoypod.com and on all major podcast platforms. Now we are so happy, Sophia. We do the Dance of Joy.
Imran, this is a podcast. They can't see us.
Oh,
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Throwback Thursday from the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast. Along with my co-host, Bill. Every Thursday, we bring you classic hip-hop.
Classic.
You know, all the good stuff, the stuff that you forgot about, the golden age, pre-golden age, back to the original era.
For all the pioneers, I'm going way back.
Each week, we bring you hip-hop headlines, so we let you know what's going on with your favorite artists from back in the day. We bring you Wu News. We dedicate an entire segment just to the Wu-Tang Clan every week.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
We bring you 2 records. One is a one and done. One is a record of the week. We give you an artist of the month. We give you all the classics.
Classic.
Come and check us out. Every week we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and at MrThrowbackThursday.com. And if you remember nothing else, always remember, new school stale, old school fresh.
And nerd podcast.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, this is a great time to join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. And you can give back for all the silliness and mild entertainment we've been putting out for 10 years, ever since I was Anthony's age. That's how long does that work? But you get stuff when you give back on a monthly or annual basis. You get access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content, instant reactions to new movies, additional movie reviews this week.
What about whatever we choose?
And whatever we choose. And whatever you guys chose, there are 4 new short movie reviews posted this week.
Oh, shit.
Only on our Patreon for our Patreon members.
Yeah, the Patreon's never been better, Imran.
There's stuff.
Everyone's contributing, even Anthony.
Yes, I know. This is amazing. The guy who watches the movie 2 seconds before we record is doing stuff. It's great.
He's doing things.
You can also join us on our monthly Discord hangouts. The next one is this year, January 23rd, 2025. And you can pick any movie. There's a t-shirt tier where you get an exclusive t-shirt. Lots of fun stuff over on our Patreon community. Join it. Be a member. Do it today. All right, let's get to this week's movie review. We are reviewing the 1979 cult classic, The Warriors. Here's your spoiler alerts first.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
How did we end up picking this movie?
I watched it. I said everybody else should watch it.
Yeah, Ruggs 2 weeks ago randomly told us he watched it.
Yes.
Imran goes, we should review that. Then I went, no, not yet. We got to do Home Alone. And then we had nothing to do this week. And then we said we're doing the Warriors. And then Bellotti found a way to get on this somehow.
Wait, but you did. I remember you mentioning you've always wanted to watch the Warriors.
This is also true.
Okay,
yes.
but then
the series of events still remains the same.
Yes, but the fact that Bellotti, I think Bellotti is
Bellotti's in the Warriors.
Yes, he's a big.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was one of the baseball Furies.
I'm the guy they're looking for the whole movie.
No, he's the guy with the Indian headdress or Native American headress.
He's Cochise. Yeah. He's not coat cheese, he's dick cheese. But we'll find out. But I have a feeling Bellotti loves this movie, and it's like the perfect movie review to have him on. Everything worked out. We got to do our best in 2024.
Yeah, you got to get someone from New York.
Yeah, someone that
in
was
a New York-based
an actual
movie.
gang member.
Through all the gang attacks. No, I wasn't even alive at that point.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out if your story holds. Here we go.
Yeah.
This movie is based on a novel by Saul Urich, came out in 1965, also called The Warriors, and that book itself is based on a Greek story, Anabasis by Xenophon.
Rugs, can you tell us about Anabasis by Xenophon and make sure you're accurate like you were last week about the story you
some
told us.
people say that Xenophon's Anabasis is a kind of another take on the Odyssey, where it's Ulysses getting home. So,
it's another journey of
I didn't know that Ruggs was so
he knows his shit, man.
well versed in Greek mythology and the Greek stories.
I knew that. No, I know that's his shit. That's why
because he's Greek. He's Greek, isn't he?
I just fucked up now because I'm drunk. I said Ulysses. It's Odysseus.
Yes.
I fuck up all the time because of course there's Greek things just bleed into one another, and I don't know where one ends and one begins sometimes.
Because it's all the same name. It all sounds like you're calling a cat, like this, and then came and he wants to.
Everybody's these nuts. Euripides and
these nuts. Xenophon sounds like an EDM DJ or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Xenophon's
or an alien,
or an alien. Yeah, like Xenophon.
They all have the gods in it. They all have Scylla and Charybdis.
So Anabasis, it's a journey. It's a story of an ancient Greek mercenary army.
Calabasas?
Not Calabasas.
Oh, okay.
It's a Greek mercenary army crossing Asia Minor and Mesopotamia through some Greek war. So it's a journey of a gang that all of this is based on. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie currently holding 88% tomato meter and 88% audience score out of 52 reviews. It's an old movie.
But initially, when this movie came out, in my quick research, it was not well liked.
No, it wasn't.
Ebert gave it 2 stars.
Siskel gave it 1. Yes.
Yeah.
Critics did not initially like or get this. Audiences, the kids, fucking loved it. It goes on to become a cult classic. The movie made for $4 million, pulls in a box office at $22.5 million. That's not bad. In 1979 for $4 million. This came out February 9th, 1979. Do we want to do 1979 box office there or anything?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. I got to pull that up. Give me just one moment here just to give us a little bit of perspective.
Perspectives.
In-year releases from 1979. All right, so number 1 from that year was Kramer versus Kramer.
Oh, that was number 1, really?
Right? No, because Superman was 1978. Yep. Okay. Yep. So Kramer versus Kramer was number 1.
Okay.
Number 1. Number 2, Amityville Horror.
Oh.
Number 3, Rocky 2.
Oh, there you go.
Number 4, Star Trek: The Motion Picture. 5, Alien.
Ooh.
6, Apocalypse Now. 7, 10. I don't know what that is.
Bo Derek.
Sexy movie.
Oh, yeah.
Number 8, The Jerk.
Oh, Steve Martin.
Oh, classic.
That's a classic Steve Martin.
Classic.
He hates these cans.
Stay away from these cans.
Number 9, Moonraker.
Oh, you got a James Bond.
That's a James Bond film.
Yeah.
And number 10 was The Muppet Movie.
Wow.
That has Muppets in it. Fuck them.
Ruggs auditioned for the Muppet movie.
But other notables from that year, at least to me, I don't know if these are notables. I see Escape from Alcatraz.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Meatballs?
Meatballs was kind of a big comedy at the time.
My favorite porno film, The Black Hole, is in there.
Black Hole.
Black Hole.
Yes, 19. And then 31, National Lampoon's Animal House.
Yeah. Oh.
The Warriors comes in, what?
Landmark film.
28.
Yeah.
So not the most.
Yeah, it's not the 79 had
79,
some bangers.
Yeah. Some great. And of course, Superman was still playing. That came out at the end of 78, right? So happened. Yeah, but I think it was in theaters for a long time.
Yeah,
but
if you do calendar year grosses, Superman made the most money.
But of course.
The movie directed by Walter Hill, who also directed 48 Hours and some other things. But he's most known for 48 Hours with a screenplay by David Shaber and Walter Hill. Anthony.
Well, yeah.
What happens in this R-rated 1 hour, 33 movie? It's good runtime. Remember those runtimes?
Yeah.
in The Warriors?
This movie is about a Greek named Ulysses that crosses a river.
Odysseus.
No. Oh, right. No, this movie is about this gang called the Warriors that gets framed for a murder when all the gangs convene of a crime boss or gang boss, big gang boss. And they are just trying to get their way home, but now the hit has been put on them, and every gang in New York is looking for them.
Yeah,
you got to figure out a way to get home.
Nice,
Pretty simple,
straightforward plot. Bellotti, I gotta know, what does this movie mean to you? What is your history? How many times have you seen it?
I've seen like a handful of times. I came to it later in life. It was one of those things like you always knew about New York and you always heard about.
Yes.
And you saw like if you walked around the East Village in like the 90s, you saw like that logo in like the windows of t-shirt shops and you'd see the cosplayers. But I didn't see it until I want to say like 2003. So I was like in my 20s when I saw it.
Okay.
And then I've watched it a few times since then. And then my wife's cousin, she told me at when I first met her that she's like, oh, I was an actress. And I'm like, oh, what were you in? And she's like, I was in the Warriors.
What?
I was like, what?
Wait, who was she?
So
Do you know?
The gang that is pursuing them throughout the movie, the little dude that's in Commando, remember
Yep.
the one that what's it, Sully or Telly or Sully?
Yeah.
I lied. That guy.
I lied.
So they go to like a newsstand.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you have to pay for that. And he's
Yes.
like,
Oh, that's
"What?"
her?
That's her.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's
god.
a good-looking woman.
For what? Who's gonna pay?
She's a good-looking little woman in the movie.
I thought it was
Yes.
odd that there's this like teenage girl in the one bodega open in the middle of the night
Yeah, seriously. I
for
guess
some reason.
Like,
Wow,
yeah.
that's her. That's cool. That's a cool connection.
Things were different in '79. Let me
They
tell
were.
you.
That's awesome.
that's my connection
crazy.
to it.
All right.
But I mean, I like the movie. I like it a lot. It's very it's a fantasy. It's a New York fantasy,
Yeah.
but it's a movie that can only really be made back then because back then that's what New York looked like.
I mean, arguably some of it looks a lot similar these days. kind
Yeah,
of.
there's parts, mostly the Bronx.
Yeah.
In fact, it's just all the Bronx that looks like that, and
Yeah.
way out in Brooklyn. But yeah, mostly the Bronx.
All right. Ruggs, what's your history with this movie?
Seen it a few times, but like I didn't really get a boner for it until the video game came out.
Okay, yeah.
I think it came out. The PS2 had a video game,
Rockstar 2005 puts out a video game, yes.
and that gives a lot of backstory and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that makes the movie. I don't know if it makes the movie better, but it fills in a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
So and it's a great game. So that kind of reignited my interest in it, and I watched it again for the first time in a long time, and I love the opening I just love the opening.
Yeah.
It just sucks you right in.
Yeah.
Like the music and the going through the subway and seeing all the gangs.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. And so I was like, whoa, I have a new appreciation for the film. So, yeah, I always thought it was cool. And then the game kind of reignited it. And then seeing it again, I was like, oh, I was taken aback by what I saw a little bit.
Yeah, I also, like you, rewatching it was the first time in a long time. I remember seeing this, I think when I was a teenager. Maybe my cousin showed it to me, but I've always remembered the Warriors come out to play. Ever since I was a little kid, that's been in my head. And honestly, I think this movie started my fascination with like wanting to go to New York City because of the danger and these colorful outfits. It's kind of like, this is crazy. This is what New York City's like. I'm in. Also, like David Letterman at the time, constantly making jokes about how dangerous New York was. So just the allure of this dirty, dangerous city was very
Now you live
exciting.
in Chicago, way more dangerous than New York.
It's about the same, arguably. You just got to live in the right places. So, but watching it again, I had a lot of fun. Anthony, I'm curious what you knew about the movie and then what you thought watching it for the first time in 2024.
Yeah, The Warriors was on my list back when I was Anthony Polanski.
Oh, God.
And I never got around to watching it. And then once Ruggs said and he'd seen it and you were all enthusiastic about doing it, I was definitely on board. Walter Hill, I love 48 Hours.
Yeah.
The only history I have with the Warriors is I knew about that come out. The Warriors come out to play.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was even getting into. So yeah, I watched the movie. Nice. I literally finished the movie. What? an hour ago.
Yeah, minutes before we started to record.
I mean, I know I delayed the start of the show because I was still watching the movie.
Second, yes.
Yeah. I like to do that. I like
hilarious.
to fit it in at the last second.
It's hilarious. It's
Squeeze
fresh.
it in there.
It's fresh.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is, I like the way you described it, Imran. It's like fantasy New York, right? So right away you see all the gangs and stuff, and you're right away, I go, that looks ridiculous. Yeah. And then I just go, okay, I'm just going to go with it. Everyone's just going to wear the same outfit.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Dudes are just going to wear vest with no shirt, and all the baseball players are going to color their face.
Oh, and they're colorful and sparkly sometimes.
So once you just buy into that and go, let go and be like, okay, I know this movie is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And just buy in. I mean, it's a fairly simple plot. It's easy to follow. I don't know that it's, it's from 79, so I'm going to grade it on a curve, right? The action I'd say is good for 79, I guess. I don't really know if it's really holds up in that sense.
Yeah.
The plot is fairly simple, but there's not a ton of, character development. It really is just, how can these guys get home?
Yeah.
I think the best part of the movie is just the vibes.
Yes.
So the music, the colorfulness, how dirty New York is, how unbelievably empty New York is at all times during the movie.
But it's one night in the middle of the night. I don't know.
I feel like New York would have been, I wasn't around in 79.
No, there probably
I can't say for sure, but I feel like there are people on the street other than them walking around. So yeah, I mean, the vibes are good. It's a fun little movie. There's good, like I said, good music, not a ton of depth to the movie. Overall, yeah, I mean, it's a good time. I can see why people enjoy it, and what the best part, one of the most fun parts of the movie for me was just following them on the train stop. So I was literally looking up, I'm like, oh, where's Union Square?
Oh, really?
Where's that in New York?
So they're coming down from Bronx.
Now that I've been to New York a few times,
that's the other thing.
I was literally trying to figure out, okay, the Bronx to Coney Island, how far is that?
How long of a trip is that normally, Bellotti? Do you know? What's that, like an hour, 2 hours?
He's going from Coney Island to the Bronx, right?
Or Bronx back down.
Back down from the Bronx.
Going back down.
But where in the Bronx?
An hour and a half at least. An hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, an hour could be 2 hours, depending on.
Do we know in the Bronx where they're at?
when they first
get off.
Well, back then, all the Bronx was on fire, so it could be anywhere. But my guess is it was probably the South Bronx, because Riverdale is like southwest, and that's really nice over there, and it's always been nice.
South Bronx.
They go to, it's a real spot, Van Cortlandt Park.
Right.
Oh, that's like center of the Bronx stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
so that was an hour and a half?
It could be, yeah. But if they're catching what train goes up there? Quick, someone pull up a subway map. If they got an express, it could be like an hour, but it's probably hovers around an hour and a half to 2 hours at least.
It's a long trip all the way down.
Long enough for a movie, which is probably why.
Sometimes they stop for 5 minutes. Sometimes you got to change.
Yeah. Sometimes
you got to wait for another train, and you don't know the fuck when that's going to come.
I mean, look,
Coney Island is not the furthest stop. I think Canarsie is the farthest stop, right? Isn't that the farthest stop that the subways go?
Or depends what the line is.
But Coney Island's pretty far out there.
It starts with
Jamaica Queens is another one.
It starts with that shot of the Wonder Wheel at Coney Island. What was that washed away? But no, it's still
no, it's still there.
Still there, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
How long does it take you to get from where you live? You don't take the subway from where you live to New York, do you?
No, I need my car for every place I work, so I don't really take the train. But what's the question? What's the?
How long would it take for you to get from Brooklyn, deep in the asshole of Brooklyn, to like the Upper West Side or something like that?
It's actually, I did it like a few times when I first moved here, because you take it's a lot of train hopping. That's the thing with New York.
Right. I'm looking for a number, Bellotti.
Hold on, Jesus, give me a second. It was like 10 years ago. I want to say it was like 45 minutes to get up to. But again, that's with train hopping.
I would say it's like 2 hours. I'll say 2 hours to do the trip in the movie, at least 2 hours.
I have a New York question before we do more analysis. Yeah. Was when they're in the park, is that Central Park that they're in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's supposed to be Central Park. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. They get to Central Park pretty quick.
Yeah.
I felt like.
Well, Central Park is not that far from the Bronx. No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's just you shoot down. It's just above. Okay. Just above the park.
In the Odyssey that they're going in, it's like in the upper part. So it's like in the top half of it.
Watching this movie again, I love how New York looks. It's a character in the movie.
Yeah, it is.
There's garbage everywhere.
It's wet. It's slick.
That's how it looked, though.
I know. I don't even think the graffiti on the trains, which I love, I don't think they dressed that train.
No,
that's real.
That's how they look.
Fucking graffiti. It's dirty. It's
New York,
dangerous.
those
79,
70s, those 70s movies that were shot in New York are like, that'll never happen again. And that is my absolute favorite period of films. Like any fucking movie that came out in New York in the 70s was like guaranteed to be awesome because of the city.
But it was the time you did not want to be out in the middle of the night in the late 70s in New York City.
No, my mother-in-law is in the Lower East Side, and she remembers, like, she tells stories about like how bad the city was. And my father-in-law, he lived in Alphabet City, which is now like where Tompkins Square Park is. And he was like, everything was on fire. He's like, I never wanted to leave my apartment. Like, that's how bad it was.
Do you guys know about the Guardian Angels, Imran?
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen them all the time.
Anthony, do you know about the Guardian Angels?
They're coming back, baby. They're coming back.
They wear the red berets. They're the vigilante group.
So, like, in the 70s, crime was so bad.
They're still around.
That this guy, Curtis Sliwa, and a bunch of other people started this fucking anti-gang.
Yeah.
Called the Guardian Angels, and they wore like red berets, and they would walk around and like they would be vigilantes.
Yeah, they would fight they would fight the fucking gangs, bro. And they are still around. You still catch some of them in the city.
That's cool.
All right, let's go through the sequence of events because there's some great shit in this movie. It's a time capsule. Remember subway tokens? It's hilarious. The gangs are paying to use the subway. I thought that was funny. Like, just jump the turnstile. But we start with this phenomenal summit called by Cyrus, leader of the Griff's gang. And it's he wants 9 unarmed delegates. So there's like 1,000 people in this scene, and nobody's armed, and he wants to form a truce. And he points out how they outnumber the cops, and then you get the iconic, "Can you dig it?" and everybody cheering. But this guy was a last minute replacement. You know the story of this? They had cast an actual gang member to play Cyrus, and the night before filming, this guy disappears. Nobody knows what happens to him. So, I didn't even go over the cast. We'll go over the cast. Roger Hill gets the role of Cyrus, and he's not in the movie long, and it's such an impactful.
Oh, that's a good scene,
iconic scene.
Well,
but think about it, there's so many people in that scene.
Yeah,
that scene is so colorful. But the one comment I had was, when he's going, "Can you dig it?" and at one point he goes, "Can you dig it, sucker?" That line, I only know that line from Booker T in the WWF.
Oh,
Booker
he used
T,
that?
Every time he used to come out, it would start with, "Can you dig it, sucker?" So now I know that he stole that from the Warriors.
Oh yeah, they don't have any creativity.
There's a lot of shit sampled in like songs from this movie too, like in hip hop and other things. But even the lines where he's like, "Our little piece of turf," just the way he delivers it, this fucking dude Cyrus is great.
He's a great orator. He's up there with all the great orators of our time, Winston Churchill and all the rest.
I was ready, dude. This dude's like a Batman villain. I was ready to join sides myself. I was like, let's go. Let me go over the cast real quick because you have you're not gonna know any of these people, but they're important.
The Warriors, you're saying?
Yeah, the main Warriors. You got Michael Beck playing Swan, James Remar playing Ajax.
James Remar, I knew.
Oh, you knew James Remar. Okay, Dorsey Wright as Cleon, Brian Tyler as Snow, David Harris as Cochise, Tom McKittrick as Cowboy, and Marcelino Sanchez as Rembrandt, Terry Michos as Vermin. And then the girl, Mercy, played by Deborah Van Valkenburg, who I know from the 80s sitcom Too Close for Comfort.
That's right.
With Ted Knight and Jim J. Bullock. Roger Hill playing Cyrus. An amazing David Patrick Kelly playing Luther, leader of the Rogues. We got to go through the gangs, too. You see the lips and hear the voice of Lynn Thigpen as the DJ. And a cameo by a very young Mercedes Rule, who I was like, oh, that's Mercedes Rule. I forgot she was in this movie. But any more comments about that summit scene there from the behind the scenes shit I read? They were actual gang members.
Oh, yeah.
As well as actors, as well as undercover cops to make sure the actual gang members didn't do anything.
How do you organize such a thing? It's crazy. And then the cops have to roll up really quietly.
The chaos is great. They're just running in circles, but it looks fucking chaotic.
Yeah, I think it's very effective for what they're doing on a shoestring budget, and they got all these extras, all these colorful characters. You got the skinheads, you got all these different things, And it is an otherworldly thing that's kind of fun. It's fun, and the setup is great. I think it sets up the whole story great. Like now they got to get home without getting fucked up by everybody. They get blamed for the
Luther shoots Cyrus, and that guy had to do his own stunt. And then he sees that one of the warriors saw him, and he blames the warriors. And
you gotta love a good 70s or 80s movie where the guy gets shot.
Yes.
And he doesn't just simply collapse, but he falls off of something.
And then smashes through something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger Hill had to do that stunt.
That's a good death.
Yeah, they couldn't find a stuntman. So it was a great death. And then just Cleon, their leader, gets killed there as everybody buys that.
Because Fox saw Luther do it.
Yes, it's a Luther.
And Luther blames the warriors so that the heat gets off of him.
Right away, yes. Yeah. But man, still an impactful scene, and it gets things going. And then you get this great journey.
Well, what I like about that scene, is it does start this journey, but the thing is the warriors, which I picked up on pretty quickly, they don't know that they're being chased.
Right, not until way at the end.
Yeah. They're just getting out because of the cops. They don't even realize what's happening.
There's supposed to be a truce, and they're like, what happened to this truce?
Right.
But okay, where are we going? You want to go some more favorite moments, or we want to talk about the gangs? There's so many little fun things about.
I got some favorite moments.
Bellotti, give me a favorite moment.
I have one. When they're in the subway and the cops coming and they throw the bat at the cop's shins in slow motion.
And he trips over the bat for some reason.
It's like the weirdest thing to put in slow motion.
Yeah.
But they did it. And it's
like, I don't know if the bat was effective or the cop was just a bumbling idiot.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
And what I love too is the bathroom fight, because those bathrooms do not, like, they exist, but they don't let people in the bathrooms anymore.
That's one of the only sets that they shot on. A lot, most of it on location.
Right.
In the
that was a good fight.
But that's a fun fight where they all come out of the stalls.
I really liked the scene with the orphans. I like the setup where they're like, oh, the orphans are basically this little group that no one cares about.
They weren't even called to the summit. They were like, what summit? What are you talking
the orphans don't know about stuff, and they're trying to prove themselves. And the whole, just the ratcheting of tension where it's the orphans are there, they're trying to just get through. Then the orphans are like, you can go through. And then the lady comes out of nowhere.
Mercy comes in, causing trouble. It
causes trouble, like, basically challenges the orphans' manhood. Then they're like, okay, you can go, but you got to take off your shit. Yeah. And they're like, fuck you. Yeah. And just the whole ratcheting up of the thing. And then the orphans fighting them. I thought that whole scene was really good. I also just like the way that lead orphan, he just looks stupid.
Yes, he's kind of a pathetic schlub. Yeah, they were the lower tier gang. But dressed in equally dirty matching outfits, which is
was it white tees and green pants?
Shirts and like jeans. They were all dirty. And it ends with them just throwing a Molotov cocktail on the car. It explodes.
Yeah, and they just run away.
Great explosion. And now Mercy is with them. Mercy, first of all, Jesus, this girl, she calls him chicken shit. She's like, give me your vest. And then she just ends up going with them because she's like, I'm done with them. Ruggs, favorite gang for you?
Best gang is the baseball guys. What are they called?
The Baseball Furies. I was going to ask this question to everybody, but there's only one right answer, isn't there?
Because they're just the most memorable. I don't think they're the best gang. They don't talk at all.
Yeah.
No.
They're completely silent. And they're kind of suck, but they're just memorable. They have like this bat fight in the middle of Central Park.
That's great.
And there's like a chase scene where they're running and they're it's what they did, and I feel like at the time it was really cool. I love the concept of this movie. This is a movie that it did what it needed to do, and I don't know if they should remake it because I don't think they could remake it with the same kind of stuff, but I feel like this concept is a great concept, and there's so much you could do with it.
Well,
and,
it's basically Mad Max and Apocalypto. It's kind of like
just in the city,
just a chase movie.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with a good chase movie.
Yeah, and like you got the odds are like you have all these people against you. Everywhere you turn, there's another gang that you have to deal with.
It's very comic booky, very video gamey. There's like bosses, mini boss battles.
I got to give a second, or I got to give a kudos to the other gang that I really enjoyed. Yeah. The Furies were obviously the best.
Yeah.
But the guys wearing the overalls and
the those are
just hanging, the ones that get into the bathroom fight.
Oh, the
Those
roller
guys
skate
are
guy?
The guys on the roller skates.
Yeah, the roller skate and overalls, that's a look for
They're-
sure.
those
What
are
about
the
the
punks.
ladies? The ladies that try and lure him in
The
with
Lizzies.
with the honey
Those
pot.
are the,
Oh, yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
Lizzies. That scene is great because it gets them in and they get them and they have guns. And they're such bad shots that
Bad
these
shots.
three get away and not get hit.
You gotta love the wooden chair shot to the girl's
Oh my
dome.
God, they're punching the women.
You know that Rembrandt had no interest in any of those girls.
Well,
No.
Yes, I don't think
Well, he
Rembrandt.
knew
Yeah.
either he's low key, he's actually homosexual, or he knew what was going on.
Yeah, he's
I
like,
think
this is
or
too good to
both.
be
Or
true.
both.
or both.
Or both.
I don't
Yeah.
trust.
I guess it could be
these.
both.
Yeah.
He was the one that was going, wait a minute, what are these ladies? What's going on here? Why are they just throwing
I
themselves?
mean,
at
so
us?
as a kid, you clearly remember the Baseball Furies. Also, they have weapons. They have a bat. They're committed to their bit. They have makeup inspired by Kiss. It's fantastic. You can't forget that. But I
What
thought
was the name? What was the name of the final gang? The one
the Rogues. The Rogues is the
Rogue.
one Luther is a part of.
they had like the leather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They drove a hearse, which is nice.
I didn't realize that line where he says Warriors come out and play. I didn't realize that he decides to put 3 glass bottles on
It's
his
great.
fingers.
You hear the clinking. So there's a story about that. Apparently, Walter Hill was like, come up with something, and David Patrick Kelly just came up. He found these bottles on the street and just came up with the Warriors come out to play. He does say Walter Hill helped him a little bit, but it was an improvised, made up line that he loved, and it's the most iconic fucking thing out of the whole movie. And I've always loved that. So that's the Rogues. I thought the Gramercy riffs were fascinating. I feel like they're like the martial artists, or they were dressed like kung fu dudes.
Yeah, they had the full on outfit. They all the glasses. It was great.
They were like top
I'm
tier.
pretty sure they were the gang. They were spawned off the gang that was in Enter the Dragon with the black guy that helps.
That's what it reminded
Black
me
Belt
of.
Jones.
Yes,
that's his gang.
that's what it reminded me of. The Warriors, they got vests, they got embroidery on the back. It's not bad.
No, they had the coolest vest, man.
They did have, you can wear it with a shirt, without a shirt. You know.
I liked Ajax, but he got taken out. He got arrested by the cops in the middle of the movie.
That's a great scene with Mercedes Rule posing as undercover.
Remar is just super. I mean, he just wants to. He just wants to have sexual assault all the time.
Everywhere he goes.
He's Sub-Zero.
But yeah, he was Raiden.
He was Raiden.
Oh, he was Raiden.
Oh, he was Raiden. I was gonna say,
And he was Hicks. He was Hicks until he got fired.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Oh, really? Oh.
But the Warriors. I wanted to say, just looking at all of their bodies.
Yeah.
Does any one of the Warriors weigh more than 175 pounds?
But that's what people used to look like back in the 70s.
yeah.
They were
Was it
pretty
because
floppy.
of all the coke they were doing in the 70s?
Just no preservatives and shit in the
Yeah,
food.
there was no preservatives in the food. I think at that time.
I mean, just watching this movie, though, the thing that stuck out to me is the lead being so skinny, and then you just go fast forward maybe 3 years, 3 years to the 80s, and then you get like the Arnolds and those type of bodies, and it's just like, what a dichotomy. In the 70s, they thought this was the look of a tough guy.
I was like, how is Rembrandt going to survive anything with that floppy ass? I don't understand. He's the graffiti artist, though. They all had like position.
You see his graffiti? It was the lamest
It was
graffiti.
just a bad
He's like,
W.
"Don't hang that up." He just a W. Like nothing
Horrible.
special.
But there's like positions in the gang, right? There's war chief, there's a scout, there's an enforcer, there's an artist, there's like the soldiers.
Are we gonna waste them?
Well, look, the movie's a very simple movie. They got to get from point A to point B, and they got to come up with some interesting things to kind of avoid getting into fights or to try and maximize like their ability to get home. But I thought when they got home finally that there was going to be other warriors there.
No,
Like
there's
that's
only
why they
them.
were going to be safe
Oh,
because
yeah. Where's the
they're
rest of
home,
them?
and then all of their fucking boys are going to be there. But they get home and there's nobody there.
That's a good point. There's only them.
I'm like, all they got is 9.
And why do they need to grab weapons underneath a dock?
Oh, that's where the weapons were?
Well, that's where they get their stuff. Like, they're home.
Yeah.
Couldn't they have just gone home?
That's their home. They live in the amusement park. I don't know.
Yeah, they're from Coney Island.
Yeah. The other thing I love is I saw this video. Somebody had taken scenes of the Warriors and done the same camera movement in the same location in like 2024. And especially the subway, aside from the turnstiles, everything looks very similar. Like, I don't think much of those locations have changed inside the subway because all that subway shit looked the same.
Yeah, it's still a crumbling infrastructure
Yeah,
in
it's
New York.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Not much
it's
has
rat
changed.
infested.
Rat infested.
But there's so many, and then I mean, of course, there is some language that doesn't hold up. There's some F-word slurs, and then they kept saying "getting japped," and I was like, "Are they still mad at the Japanese in 1979?"
Possibly.
Was that what that meant?
I don't know. They're like,
The line I caught was wasting people. We're going to waste them.
We're gonna waste them. And then when he goes to Mercy, maybe we should pull a train on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Hey,
wow,
now.
there's some
And
attitudes
then
here.
they're like, oh, I bet she would like it.
Yes. And she's like, fuck you. You get what's with so many other things. You see Grace Papaya in the background, which is also great.
But still there.
That's still there outside the 96th Street
Well,
station.
how about the scene in the beginning when they're getting chased on foot by a car and the car just doesn't catch up to them?
That's the Turnbull ACs, and they had weapons somehow, but yes, they couldn't. They were being
They
chased.
could not catch up to those guys. They should have just ran them right over.
They get away on the train, and then there's a track fire, and they're getting off the train. They get split up. You notice at one point Mercy has a jacket on, and she's like, "Oh, I stole it." The actress had broken her wrist in one of these. Out of all of them, she breaks her wrist running, and so she had a cast, and so they had to cover it.
So they originally had like a different actor that she was supposed to hook up with.
Yes.
Then they fired him, and then they killed him off in the movie. Like he's the one who gets thrown into the subway.
He's the
gets
guy
run
Fox.
over.
Yes, Fox. So here's the story of Thomas Waits, who played Fox. He did not get along with Walter Hill on the set of this movie. He threatened to report him to the Screen Actors Guild. And so Fox, or Walter Hill, had Fox fired and written off. So that whole sequence where he's running down the stairs and the cop, he fights and he throws him, that is not even him. It's a body double. Thomas Waits also asked for his name to be removed from the credits, and they did. So that's a different guy playing Fox. So they just killed him off.
Well, one thing though is Fox is the guy that sees the murder of Cyrus.
That's true, but at the end they have a different dude. Snow goes to see the Riffs to tell them.
No, what
the
I'm saying
truth.
though is, he but it is a little messy at the end.
Yeah,
because what's his name? The Swan talks to Luther and says, "I know you killed them."
Right,
but there's never a scene where Swan finds that out.
That's true, because Fox is the only one.
Fox is the only one. I mean, I guess it could be implied that he might have told them off scene, off camera, but there's never a scene where he finds that out.
That's a good point.
So how does he know that?
Fox told somebody who told somebody.
I mean, you
guess.
can make that leap that they're all in the same game. They probably would have shared information, but it'd be great to see it on fucking screen.
Yeah, that part, I literally paused the movie. I went, how does he know that Luther killed him?
Yeah,
because you don't get that scene.
That's true. He does call him out. Luther pulls a gun, and Swan throws a knife at his wrists, and then the Riffs are just there.
What happens? Okay, here's another
crazy.
question, unanswerable. When he when he throws the knife at his hand,
yes,
he has the gun pointed at them. The gun goes off.
Well, yes.
Where does that bullet go?
And how did the knife come in like perpendicular if he's pointing?
But more importantly, where does
did the bullet go?
The bullet should have gone straight at somebody.
Somebody got hit.
Hey, get off my back about that already.
Yes, you're gonna have to get all the way off
my back.
No, fun stuff. And the behind the scenes shit, like people were protesting this movie when it came out. There was stabbings and shootings in the movie theater because the gangs went to see it. When they were filming it, people were peeing on them. Gangs were peeing on them and throwing bricks. I think that still
Peeing
happens.
on them?
Yeah, that still happens in New York.
Yeah, they were like listening to R. Kelly and everything.
Like how?
They would like from above because a lot of times they were under the bridge and under those structures. And from windows and buildings, apparently people were peeing on.
That's a long stream. If you're shooting a pee
If you
from a
can hit
window,
that, yeah.
That's a long stream.
But ballsy to shoot this
onto the street
at night. They had to make
Haters
peace.
want to hate.
Like they had to pacify the gangs that were there by putting them in the movie.
None of the above. I'm going to pee on you.
Ronald Reagan loved this movie. Also, he called somebody called them to tell
what?
him.
Here's another question. What made you decide to throw this movie on a couple weeks ago?
I don't know. I just wanted to watch an 80s movie. I just wanted that. I wanted like that. This like, we're watching all this like sanitized, clean, like nice for you stuff, and I'm like, I want some dirt.
Yeah.
And I want to see some shit that like I want to see people say crazy shit. I want to see, it's because it's a fantasy. It's not real.
Mhm.
I just want to I want to be out of wherever I am and be somewhere else. And I wanted to go back. Like I could say, like, okay, now that New York is shitty again, I'm like, okay, let's do a comparison. Let's see how are they lighting people on fire in this movie, or people just randomly getting stabbed.
Well,
for no
that's
reason?
the thing. That story about that woman getting lit on fire.
Crazy.
That's
Crazy
crazy. And
shit.
I heard people were like, the bystanders around her were just like, I don't see nobody on fire. Do. And like, nobody did shit. And I was like, this is 1979. And like, how much really has changed?
They're not. I don't know. I don't want to go too far off the rails, but like they haven't released the identity of that woman. But like my local councilman made a post on Twitter about it, and he sort of alluded that I think she was also like another homeless person.
No, she was homeless.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and there was some sort of like the homeless. The thing with the homeless, man, like they have turf. It's not that different from the Warriors.
Yeah.
I should be making jokes about it, but. And my guess is they had like a turf war or some shit going on. And if I'm like a New Yorker and you see like homeless people go at it, like you don't step in. So if you know what I mean? Like you stay away because you can get stabbed or they can give you scabies or some shit. Like you don't know.
There's still gangs in New York, right?
Look, someone should have done something, but I'm sure Alicia Keys is not happy with this outcome.
Let's reeling it back into the movie.
Yeah.
Let me ask another New York question. People from Coney Island, did they look that clean back then?
No.
Those guys are clearly the most well-dressed, most groomed guys
out of all of them in the Warriors. Yeah.
You look at the orphans,
they're
they're
dirty
fucking
as fuck.
dirty.
Yeah.
Everyone else is kind of grimy or has a weird thing, but the Warriors look pretty slick. Like they look like they're pretty. They have warm showers.
Right.
And
they do look like they
access to good workout facilities.
Yeah.
And food.
Yeah.
Coney's a weird place because it's like Irish, it's Italian, it's black, it's Puerto Rican, but now it's mostly black and Puerto Rican with some Chinese moving in. But back then, it was very mixed. But there's no hot water over there.
Their aesthetic is not didn't seem to me, although I don't know anything about Coney Island, didn't seem to me very Coney Island.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. In fact, I was just reading really quick about the making of this movie because I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
And apparently in the book, the characters, like the Warriors, weren't white, and they wanted to cast black actors, and Walter Hill said no because it wouldn't be commercial.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be commercial.
And that's part of the reason they're all clean cut.
Yeah, for commercial reasons.
Well, they weren't all white.
No, they weren't.
all
They
white.
weren't. Yeah.
So I think it's half and half, like 4 black guys and then 5 white guys.
Right.
Other behind the scenes stuff, Tony Danza, originally cast as Vermin, but gets the job on Taxi and takes that instead. So you could have had Tony Danza.
Probably a better choice.
Probably, I think. The Simpsons parodied this. So many people parodied this. It's become iconic. Walter Hill really wanted to make it a comic book like stylized thing, and I guess on the director's cut, he has comic book panel transitions. And you notice there's vertical wipes that he does use in the movie, which is kind of very comic booky.
The quick letterbox reviews I read said the director's cut is basically ruined by all the comic book type shit. He does.
Really?
I wouldn't check that
I
out.
could see that. I've seen what it looks like, but I don't know if it's necessary.
What
'cause
does
I
the
like way it
director's
is.
cut add?
I think probably just those transitions that he more what he
Yeah,
wanted to
the
do.
comic. That's what I read about. This is the transitions.
I believe there are some deleted scenes though that he might have put back in. The other crazy thing, 1979 had 5 gang movies come out. The Warriors being the first of them. They were trying to get this out before their competitor, which was called The Wanderers. And 2 of the guys in the Warriors were in The Wanderers, but there was also
The Wanderers is a good movie too. Isn't that the one with that song in it?
I don't know. That's the other
On the
big,
Dark Side.
Is it? That's the other big one that people talk about. But there's Walk Proud, Over the Edge, Boulevard Nights. But it was like in the 90s when like Boys in the Hood came out and Juice came out and Don't Be a Menace to Society came out.
Were there a lot of like when you think of gang films from the 70s, you think of Italian mob films?
Yes. Here's what I think is
no. Actually, let me step in here.
Yeah.
If in neighborhoods like the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Queens, every neighborhood had its gang. It was just a bunch of street kids that they weren't like an organized, with fucking, matching vests and shit. But like they were like, they had their own gangs. They really did. But I don't know. They weren't like as flamboyant or whatever, but they were local gangs.
No, they didn't want to get noticed back then.
The thing about I don't think they had gang content like this that's shown from the point of view of the gangs.
Of the gang, yeah.
Essentially, Saul Urich was a social worker in the 50s and 60s. West Side Story comes out, and it's kind of the only big gang thing in culture, right? It's this glamorized dancey fighting, and him being a social worker, he wanted to write a book as a reaction. So the book is a lot grittier and depressing. But the fact that this was a movie kind of for kids from the gang's point of view, just showing one night in the life of a gang, I think really connected to the gangs absolutely who came to see it.
How old do we think these people are?
Oh, in the movie or in reality?
No, in the movie. What are they?
In the movie,
early 20s.
Yeah, I would think
early 20s.
late teens. Yes,
I'm gonna paste this article into the thing about New York gangs. You could, if you want to check it out.
Current New York gangs? They're still around.
No, in the 70s.
Oh, in the 70s. Because they were not as colorful, but just the idea of these matching outfits is fucking
Can I read you some of these gang names?
Yeah, give me what are some of the gang names? Real gang names.
Nomads, Savage Skulls, Black Spades, Javelins, Reapers, Hell's Angels.
Oh, Hell's Angels.
Those all would have fit.
Hell's
Angels.
Yeah.
Those are good names. They would have fit in this movie. I mean, this movie he named 21 gangs that you see briefly. You don't really see.
The people on the rollerblades were the punks.
Those were the punks. I don't know what's punk about them because they're wearing overalls and fucking striped shirts. But you had gangs like the Hurricanes, the Boppers, the Hi-Hats, the Electric Eliminators. I just love the set dresser. They must have told her, I need 12 camouflage jackets. I need you to find me all the same sequin purple fucking jackets.
I would have loved to see more gangs fight the Warriors.
Yeah. You just get that brief roll call in the beginning and you get the mimes. What about the mimes?
That's why actually when you said that this movie shouldn't be remade, I actually think there's more potential though for a remake.
Yeah, well, you want to know something? They were going to remake it in LA with street gangs.
I saw that.
That can work.
With Ice Cube and shit.
That would have been interesting if you do South Central version of this.
I think you could ratchet up I think you could do a more realistic version and ratchet up the violence.
Do you think the John Wick movies are a little bit similar to this movie?
It's got the same vibe. Definitely
New York
has the
City,
same
and
kind of
everyone's
vibe.
like an assassin, apparently.
Trying to kill you.
I believe John Wick 4 was actually inspired by this movie because that's the most of the Warriors
Right.
out of all of them.
I think that's the legacy of this film.
Absolutely.
It's just that how much it inspired.
I think you have to do it in the 70s. I think if you try to do it now, it'd be too much like John Wick.
Yeah, it'll be weird. You can do it in the 80s. You can do a period piece. You can do it with the triads and the Russian mob and the Italian mob easily.
Oh, that could be good too.
Yeah, and the triad had cool names like the Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, White Tigers. Come on, you got to put them in a movie.
So just last year, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's been trying to make a musical version of this, put out a musical concept album called The Warriors. I listened to it this week. It's not bad. He pretty much follows the story. The genres of music is a blend of everything from hip hop, punk to reggae to heavy metal to pop. It's a complete range of music. He does a couple of interesting things. He makes Cyrus and the Warriors women, so they're a women gang. The Lizzies are the Blizzies, and they're all men. But that's only because then you just have a bunch of dudes singing, right? It helps the range of these songs, but it's not bad.
Why is swapping one for the other better?
Just for
you have a woman gang, and you have
but vocal range, just for the singing the songs instead of. Otherwise you got all dudes who are going to be. It's going to be hard.
I'm just saying, you have the Lizzies already. It's a female gang, and they have a big part of the story.
Yeah, but they're not the lead. So instead, now he's got the lead Warriors as a group of women with different ranges.
Oh, the Warriors are women.
The Warriors are women, and Cyrus. Yeah.
Oh.
How about the DJ? We even talk about how she's like calling out the hit and helping him out.
That's the lady from Carmen Sandiego.
Yes, that is the lady from Carmen Sandiego, and she apparently.
I thought that was a clever little
fun
thing there as well.
I love the needle drops where she like this. First of all, the line "Let's get down to it, boppers." Like I've heard that in a lot of music sampled. Like that's a classic line. But then she plays "Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide" to start the thing, and at the end, the Joe Walsh in the City, great song to end this movie as they make it home in the daylight. Okay, I think let's wrap it up. Bloody, you made a good point about the legacy. Give me your final thoughts. What the legacy is and what score you would give this movie.
What are we rating?
Out of 10, please.
Out of 10? Oh, Jesus. That's a tough one.
Why does that make it harder?
It's like, can you just give me like 5? So I can be like,
just
Well,
double
you
the
just do,
five.
if you just double it.
all right, I guess I'll double it. I give it like an 8.5.
All right, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give it a 9 because of how influential it is on modern filmmakers.
Oh, you
And
like this movie? I couldn't tell if you really.
No, I like the movie. I just don't like. I like the movie. It's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time capsule in New York. But there's not like you just like it for what it is on the surface, you know. And like this is the movie that people that are not from New York think what New York looks like, and it's kind of not. No, I do like the movie. It's great. I like it as much as I like his other movie, Streets of Fire. That's another fun one.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's insane.
It's like a spiritual successor to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, then
Yeah.
he does it after 48 hours.
No, and in
Oh.
fact, what? Oh my God, I forgot to mention this, but the Warriors in Streets of Fire inspired the games Streets of Rage, obviously, and Double Dragon. Like they specifically say those movies inspired those video games.
Oh, yeah, this cast is interesting. Deborah Van Valkenburg returns. We got Rick Moranis, William Dafoe,
Yeah, Diane Lane.
Bill Paxton.
Lane.
What a crazy,
Yeah.
what a crazy
Yeah,
cast.
the cast is insane. In that
It's a good movie. You should check.
Yeah.
I talked about it a long time ago, but I had just watched it.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
gonna have to
weird
check this out.
lost. It's a lost film, but they work really well as bookends to each other.
Yeah,
Like they're very complimentary. So I kind of put them in like the same league. But they just, like I said, I respect this movie for how influential it was. But is it a great movie? I mean, sure.
Anthony, final thoughts, score.
Yeah, this movie again. It's vibes, baby. It's the 70s New York and the gangs, and it's a whole thing. I was trying to think of the movies that it kind of reminded me of around this era. So other movies around this era: Assault on Precinct 13,
Yeah.
Escape from New York. It kind of reminds me
Oh,
of,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
and it kind of also The Outsiders a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like those kind of films. It has the John Carpenter-esque synthy score
Yep.
as well. So I would like it kind of, I think if Carpenter had it, it'd be better. So I think there's actually a better movie here. So I respect what it's done. Its influence on culture. I don't think it's actually that great of a movie.
Okay.
If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a ton of depth to this movie. It's fairly simple.
Yeah.
To me, it's not an all-time, you watch this and your life is changed. Maybe back then. So you got to grade it. For me, I'm grading it on a curve. I would rate it about 7. 7,
Okay.
about 7.5. I'll probably lean more towards 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I get that.
Only reason for that is I don't think like the action isn't that great. I wish there was more gang fights and stuff, and I wish there was more kind of depth to these characters. Like you follow them, but I don't know that I particularly know anything about them.
Sure.
The only guy I really know about is Remar, and he's just very rapey. Like the rest of the guys are just kind of there. Like even Swan, he's just a stoic guy,
Yeah.
but that's it.
No, there's
Like,
no-
it's simple. It's a
Yeah.
simple movie.
I just want to piggyback on what you're saying because the action for Walter Hill's a great action director, but he was sort of finding his footing with this movie.
Yeah.
Like he got much better, especially by another 48 hours. Like those scenes are crazy.
I love another 48 hours.
Yeah, I do
48
too.
hours. excuse me.
But if you put this remake in the hands of like George Miller or Chad Stahelski, I
Yeah.
think they could do like it's like Fury Road, right? Fury Road is a very simple story, but the way it's filmed is incredible. So you can make this incredible movie. I just think it's the right movie, but with the wrong choreography at the time, if that makes sense. You know,
It was his third movie he made, so
I would say this movie, and then we can go into Bruggs. I'd say this movie, the plot is fairly simple. I think the setting and the costumes and all that stuff is what really elevates, and the lines, some of the lines that are said. You
That's
know,
the
it's all about the
It's the-
aesthetics.
it's the aesthetics that really elevate the thing. It's me.
Rugs.
Yeah, I can echo what Anthony's saying. Basically, the film is it's the sum of its parts. It's 1970s, early 80s, the New York filth and grime and sweat and the gangs. Like that was a real thing. The gangs were a real thing. So it was pulling from reality, but making it more like larger than life and more interesting. and these colorful gangs. Some of them don't speak. Some of them have makeup on. It's got a fucking whole vibe. And the opening of the film where all the gangs are going, it gets you pumped.
Yeah.
Like the music and the way that the title screen, it's just such a fucking, it's a vibe. Like Anthony said, it really is a vibe. And like that, watching movies now and just seeing everything being so like samey, and it's so fresh to go back and watch this movie and just see that. Now, the actual plot to this film, it's an odyssey. They got to get back home, right? They got to go back home. They got to get back to where they are. I don't think that they did it in the best possible way. I think they left a lot on the table. You had all these interesting gangs. You didn't really pull a lot of them. The fight scenes aren't as great as they could be. I wanted to see them get back home to Coney Island and have all the other warriors there, locked and loaded, ready to defend them when they got there. You know, they did the switcheroo and had the Griffs over there, which is cool. But ultimately, I think you got to see this movie if you want to have this experience. Like, if they remade it, I think you would lose something.
Yeah.
And I might be up for that. I might be up for like trading off some of that 1970s nostalgia and weirdness for like a gang odyssey of people trying to get fucking back to a safe place while being hunted. Like it's very John Wick. John Wick is, all those movies are like that.
Yep.
So that it's a tried and true formula. If I'm going to give it a rating, I'm probably going to go a step above Anthony and go into a 7.5, 8 category, but just because it stuck with me. I don't know if it actually deserves it, but it just stuck with me in the vibes category. You know?
Yeah, I like you guys. I love the vibes. I love the gritty, dirty, dangerous, wet, pulpy nature of this film. Sweaty. You can, you can smell the fucking garbage on the street watching this. So I do think it's culturally significant. It has a huge influence. I also, like you, Ruggs, I feel like it's a movie you got to watch as a time capsule for New York and just for filmmaking in general, like on the 100 greatest movies or whatever. You definitely should. It deserves to be there. You should watch it. And just iconic. The lines I've known ever since I was a kid. I'll give it an 8.5. It's of a different time, but I think it's
I don't know.
fun.
Do you think they should remake it? I think. What do we got?
I outside of the South Central, maybe like in the 90s idea. I don't know.
I think there's a ton of potential to remake it and put it in a different setting. You could go LA, you could go
Detroit.
You could go to England, you could go to those gangs. You could do a ton of different things with that concept of all these gangs trying to fight off this one gang. Or this one gang trying to fight this up.
Do you keep like the outlandish, fantastical nature of it? Because that's kind of the twist, right? That's what sets it apart.
You have to.
So you still make it kind of
There's no point in remaking it if you're not going to do it justice like that.
Yeah.
That's the whole appeal of the movie is the
Like if you make it so realistic, it'll just look like every other movie.
Yes.
It'll be like a John Wick.
Yeah.
Right?
It's essentially John Wick. Yeah. If you do it, I mean.
It kind of. The difference, though, is John Wick is one man. This is a gang.
Right.
So you can also play into, like, I felt like there was more that could even be done between the interpersonal relationships within the gang.
Yeah. And I mean, there's sort of like a forced romance in there. I mean, they make out for a second.
Yeah, there could be like a pecking order thing and
they fight over who wants to be leader for a second, right? Like Swan speaks up and Ajax is like, who made you leader? And he just steps in.
Well, Ajax, they just got rid of him in the middle of the movie. They should have and they never go back to him. He's just in jail.
In jail.
So I think one of the ideas for a sequel, I thought I read somewhere, is they wanted to make a movie about the Warriors breaking Ajax out of jail. If you were to do a direct sequel,
see, I don't think I didn't get the sense that anyone liked Ajax.
No, he was kind of an asshole and was just asking for trouble, and he shouldn't have went and talked to Mercedes Rule. You're an idiot. And,
I don't think they would. I don't think they would have broken him out of jail.
He wanted to get laid. He's like, he's like, you might die tonight, so you might as well die.
He's like, I don't know if I can make it home.
Yeah. Well, his whole line was, "I'm going to go tell her how dangerous it is in New York."
She's like, "Look at those muscles." Use those, and then he just starts assaulting her. I was like, "Jesus, Ajax!"
But I like it rough.
It was 1979, I guess. All right, good stuff, gang. Well, let's do a little bit. What are we watching? I just want to mention on the Patreon, you guys put up reviews
Are we a gang? You just called us gang.
Gang, yes, we are gang.
We are a gang.
We are a gang. There's three of us.
We're like
our
we-
gang.
Four of us.
We're the jock nerds.
Jock nerds.
We're the Bellotti gang.
What color? What outfit are we wearing?
We
Yellow. Lots of yellow.
Yes.
wear Spider-Man pajamas.
We all have to wear the Spider-Man pajamas from Perfect Strangers that Balky had
Yeah.
on in season
Yeah.
2.
And we have
Spider-Man
fake,
underwear.
we have fake mustaches.
And our weapon,
No
Drawn
reason.
on mustaches.
Drawn on
Web-
mustaches.
our weapon is an inflatable hammer. We're the clown
our
gang. Gang. I wish gangs would all color coordinate again. That was a good time back in the 70s. Anyways, what are we watching? Patreon. If you sign up for the Patreon, you can hear reviews of Carry On Netflix, It's a Wonderful Life, Violent Night, and Home Alone 2.
You're forgetting one.
What's that one?
Nosferatu.
Wait, you did Nosferatu too?
I sent it to you. Is it already up already?
When did you send it?
I sent it. I think I sent it last night. Was I sent it to someone else? Oh my god, that'd be a big.
I didn't get that one, but expect that one coming. I don't know. I'll check.
Did I not send it to you?
I don't.
That'd be awesome.
Did
if
I
you
do
just
a review and never sent it?
randomly sent it to someone else.
Oh my god, that would be terrible.
So we have another bonus review coming up this week. I did not get that right.
Nosferatu.
Yeah. Bellotti, though, what you got? Anything you've been watching? You did mention a couple of things. Squid Game season 2. What have you been watching lately?
Yeah, Squid Games, Creature Commandos. Those are the two big ones. Like I said, I still have to finish Shogun, but TV's kind of tough for me. Like, especially if I missed like 3 seasons, it's like, oh god, I got to go back and like watch the first 3 seasons.
Well, I tell you what, the problem with like Squid Game season 2, and I did also binge the whole thing. We can discuss this later. The thing is, the first season came out in 2021. I'm supposed to fucking remember what happened 4 years ago, and you come back with this bullshit.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit. We
Holy
started
shit.
season 2, right? And it goes to the recap.
Yeah.
So we're watching the recap, and
Yeah.
Janine's like, "Wait, hold on, I have to go." She had to like get up and go do something. So I tried to pause it, press play again, and you can't get the fucking recap.
No, only on the first
It
time
disappears.
you view the thing. I think it's programmed,
Oh, wow.
and they
It is so stupid. So we had to go and watch
Oh,
the
no.
end of the last episode
Oh,
of season
no.
1.
Yeah, they assumed you've already played it. It's not going to serve
Yeah.
it again.
And I'm like, "Who's this character? Well, what's going on?" I was so pissed. I don't know why Netflix does that shit, but I was furious.
They should have it as something you could just watch individually.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just the it was a global phenomenon. It was, but
Right.
that was 2021.
Well,
And
my buddy just wrapped up the show The Gilded Age. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that show.
yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, the next season we start shooting a fucking year from now."
Oh,
so he's
God.
panicking, looking for work because he has to find stuff for his crew to do for a fucking year, which is insane. Like, who remembers this shit?
No,
I don't know why
nobody.
they do that.
Yeah, it's the only thing that bugs me about the way seasons are.
What did you
now.
think of Squid Game season 2 and Creature Commandos? Real quick.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't finished Squid Game season 2 yet.
So far, without any
Okay.
spoilers,
No
how do you
spoilers.
think?
Oh, I like it. There's definitely, I'm definitely predicting more things happening in it. Like before it happens, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. And I never did that. And I was like, I hope this doesn't like affect my enjoyment of it. I like it. It's the way we're up to episode 4 and we're like, oh shit. Very much enjoying it.
I feel like it finally picks up after in the 3rd episode.
It's a slow start.
Yes, it is a slow start.
When they get to the games, it has some of that charm from the first season.
Yeah, and there's definitely some contrived stuff that drives me crazy, but the money's in there, man. Like the sets, the acting, the directing,
Sets
like
look
everything.
amazing.
is.
Yeah.
I was looking at the sets. I'm like, oh my god, thank God I didn't work on that. Jesus.
Those staircases, those pink MC Escher staircases.
Oh, I was like, I sit there, I'm like, how did they roll it on? Did they spray it? Like, this is what I'm looking at. And I'm really enjoying Creature Commandos. I think I agree with what you guys have said about it. I'm more in Anthony's camp with the show because I really do enjoy it. Like, I'm a mark for James Gunn regardless.
Okay.
And it is a little, like I said to you guys, like Weasel in the comic is like this homicidal psychopathic murderer, and they kind of made him very sympathetic. And I'm
I
like,
love
okay.
Weasel.
Yeah, but no, I do too. I love all the characters, but to Rug Boy's point, it's kind of like, how many times are they going to redeem a villain or sort of justify what they do?
Yeah.
Instead of him just being a villain, or just a bad person. Like, just let people be bad.
You can't
people.
have good guys if you don't have bad guys.
Right.
Yeah, but they did that with Penguin. Arguably, they gave you a lead character who's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but but you know he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
and there's a part of me that thinks The Sopranos changed the landscape of characters like that because you are rooting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I feel like that show really changed TV where
That
you're
makes a lot
rooting
of
for
sense.
these.
I think there's a difference between rooting for a bad guy that you know is bad than someone undoing the bad by doing a retcon on their backgrounds.
The originator of, I'm being somewhat facetious here, the originator of rooting for bad guys has got to be Jason Voorhees.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, people were always rooting for him to kill those fucking
But
teenagers.
you knew
in
he
every
was a
movie.
piece of shit.
Right.
You knew he's a murderer.
You knew he's serial.
You're making a conscious choice to like a guy who murders college kids that are fucking.
Right. But that was my point about Cobra Kai. Like, Kreese, they gave him backstory, but like it wasn't like they tried to redeem him. He's still a fucking ass. Same thing with Silver. Silver is just a villain that needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to have bad people. Like, they do exist in the world.
Look, if you just look at politics, there's so many people that they try and make like look good that they're completely evil.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And you just see through it. And I don't think it's just as you could just retcon an evil character away because you feel like it. I think it's stupid.
Well, that's my fear with what they're going to do with Dr. Doom, especially when they cast it down. I'm like, don't do, please just make him a villain, you know, a despot, a dictator. Like that's it. All he needs to be. He doesn't need to be anything else.
He can believe that he's a hero, but he could completely be wrong.
Right.
Well, right. Like most of these villains see themselves as the hero, right?
Yeah, they can pull a Killmonger on it. And they think they're right, but that's
Did you like the latest episode of Creature Commandos? Oh, no, sorry, it's Bellotti.
Narugza. That was the episode where
Frankenstein
and Clayface.
Oh, the Clayface episode.
Clayface.
Yes. Oh,
It was a brutal fucking episode. I was like, Jesus Christ! I never saw Clayface so brutal. But no, I like it a lot. The middle finger through the tank. I'm still laughing at that. With Dr. Phosphorus.
Dr. Phosphorus, yeah.
Dr. Phosphorus is great. That battle with Clayface, I didn't think he was that strong, but that was insane.
Yeah, that was insane. And obviously, I mean, I like it. Like I said, I'm a mark, and every episode it's like you said, Anthony, they're 20 minutes and easy to watch.
Yeah.
Super easy to watch.
I could tell Grillo is not comfortable being a voice actor. You know, like you could hear with some of them that they're not quite.
Wait. How dare you speak ill of Grillo with Rug Boy here?
That's his boy.
What the hell?
Oh, I will. Here we go.
You want to know what? I'm going to agree with Bellotti.
Jesus Christ.
Frank Grillo seems like he's phoning it in. He's like really not.
I mean,
he's not. He did more Grillo in our like promo than he does in this. He's not even like fuck you.
He's playing
like,
a character. He's Rick Flag Senior.
He's like, hey, how you doing? Hey,
he's in love with the princess, and he's like, hey, Frankenstein.
I just saw him in a movie. It was called Pride and Glory. Do you guys remember this movie with Colin Farrell and Ed Norton? They play brothers, and one's a cop and one's a criminal.
Oh.
No,
and John Voight's in it. It's state. So they try to film it to look like gritty 70s New York, but it's filmed in like the 2010s, whatever. And I think the movie kicks off where these two punks go into a bodega and they shoot someone, but they're in like a black neighborhood, and so it becomes like this big race thing, and Grillo's the one that gets shot. I'm like, oh my God, it's a young Frank Grillo. I will say he's much sexier now. I will say that.
Yeah.
He's aged.
He needs to
out his look.
Well, okay. One more question, Bellotti. I got it. You're a James Gunn mark. I got to know what you thought of that Superman trailer, real quick.
Oh, I liked it. It's like what I said in the group chat or the Facebook group. It's colorful and it looks hopeful, and that's all Superman needs to be. And for the people out there that keep saying there's too much going on, Superman is Times Square. Okay.
Yeah.
All roads lead through Superman.
Okay.
I like when every character pops up because he is the focal point of every DC superhero. He is the superhero. Like Batman is in the shadows, so he's not going to come across the Green Lantern. Superman will come across everybody. He is that character.
He's kind of the guy you got to run everything by just to make sure.
Yes, so
it's cool because
it's over stuff. I'm like, no, that's Superman. That's the world he lives in because he's the light. He's the main guy. He is the main. Same with Captain America.
And they're dropping us into a story where clearly Lois already seems to know, possibly that he's Clark. You know, and he's already been around for a while. There's a lot going on, but they could be little.
How could you know he's Clark? He's got the broccoli hair.
The Edgar,
how could you
not
know
the
that?
Edgar, the other one.
Never figured that one out.
He has the fringe. There's no way your Superman would never have a fringe. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it looks good. And Crypto is a very welcome addition, and only James Gunn can make shit like that work, which is why I'm excited about it.
You know what? You got to be worried with James Gunn and animals. We've seen what he's done to break your heart with several anthropomorphized animals already.
Oh yeah, I just listened to him on I think it was Happy Sad Confused, one of those podcasts.
Yes.
Did you listen to it? It's a good episode where they're like, James, would you ever do this again where you're, taking charge of a studio? And he's like, no. He's like, I'll never do this again. But no, he said his favorite animal is a dog. Like he loves dogs more than and he loves cats too, but he talks about dogs a lot.
So Crypto is safe. People were worried. Is Crypto going to make it through the end of the movie?
No, he's definitely going to do something. He's going to do something where you're just like,
he's going to be like the linchpin of the whole thing.
He's going to be the save at the end, right? In the third act, the big CGI battle, Crypto comes in.
Yeah.
And changes the game. All right. Bellotti, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, it's tradition.
It's
like
tradition.
We are the Yuletide log, the
Yuletide gang
that you see on TV. We are an annual tradition that we have to keep going. That's why
an annual tradition that we always seem to forget about until
Bellotti's like, hey, I'm off work. I'm free this week. I was like, oh shit. All right, let's get him on.
I had a strike-induced 8-month hiatus last year, and I came on the show like twice, I think. I forgot like every week. There was one episode where I think Rug Boy was sick, and I'm like, motherfuckers, you should have called me.
I forgot that, during the strike, we should have called WMR.
Well, I need to just let you go. That's why I was like driving around. I was like, hey, wait a minute. I have to do the year-end recap with the Jock and Nerd guys.
Well, yeah, because the thing is though, he does, especially Imran, doesn't think of you because he goes, oh, there's no Godzilla movies, so I can't get the Godzilla.
It's just
there's no reason.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Look, Bellotti, also, it was great to see you this summer at Kaiju Brooklyn. When was it June? Kaiju Brooklyn.
It was fun.
2.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I love when my friend played that prank on Tony.
I'll never forget the prank that you guys pulled on us. It was fantastic.
So,
I was bewildered.
So for the listeners, my friend Charles from work, huge nerd, he came out to support me. So he started going up to like people I knew, and he would say, "Who's that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, his name is Yuko. He was a production assistant on Shin Godzilla." So he went up to Yuko and he went, "Holy shit, are you Yuko Oguchi?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You worked on Shin Godzilla," and like he would just go with it, and they believed him. He's like, "How does this guy know me?" So I was just going around. I'm like, "Go up to that guy." And I said, "Go up to Tony and say, are you the Jock from Jock and Nerd?" And he went up to you. Do you remember that? And he was like,
"Yeah, me and Imran."
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, I bought it for about 30 seconds until I turned and I saw Bellotti standing there, and I was like, "You motherfucker!" I did not know it was his idea. It was fantastic prank. He really. It was amazing. Was committed to it, and he got us. He fucking got us.
Definitely got us. I was perplexed that we had someone that came up to us like that.
I will say that day. That was one of the best days of my life. Well, both of the shows I did. But the highlight, for some reason, like I was running around like crazy that day, but I vividly remember talking to you guys outside, and I remember stopping and going, "Wow, it's so nice out. Wow, it's Imran and Tony." Like everywhere I looked, it was like someone I knew and I loved, and I'm like, "Oh man, that was a fun conversation. I don't want to go back inside and run the show. I just want to hang out with these guys."
Yeah, it was a fun time. So listen, tell us about the next one. What do you got in store? When are the dates? What's going on?
Yeah, so we're doing 2 days next year, which is huge for us.
Shit.
Yeah,
wow.
May 31st and June 1st of 2025 in Industry City, Brooklyn. Bigger venue. We have we have 65 applications in so far.
Wow.
65. We are tripling the size of the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
We're going to announce we have a few guests and a few film technician people that have worked on some of these movies as well. We got some toy people from Japan coming over for the first time, which is huge.
Whoa.
You will have, oh God, I wish I could say this, but let's just say I have really good friends with the world of Ultraman, and we had a Kaiju Brooklyn event back in October to coincide with New York Comic Con. Most stress I ever dealt with in my entire existence. But we brought over Ultraman Zero and Ultraman Belial in full costume from the Javits Center. And then we did like an entire Ultraman stage battle in Industry City. So we are, knock on wood, but we would love to have that again. We'll see what we can do, but nothing is confirmed. But that's about all I can really say. I mean, 2 days, VIP party. We can do some screenings, panels. We have this year. So remember where the Kaiju Brooklyn convention was when you guys came?
Yeah.
That's going to be our Hall H now. That's going to be our panel room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So the space you have is upstairs and it's like huge, right? now?
Yeah, it's huge. It's like 3 times the size of
It's amazing.
the other space.
So now you're going to do panels and dealer's room.
And the dealer convention room,
and VIP party. And then also, are you doing movie showings?
Yeah, we're only going to do a screening on Saturday this year.
Okay.
And I think we're going to try to we're looking at different Ultraman movies to screen because Godzilla has gotten a lot of love for us and we really want to showcase, there's other characters.
It is kaiju. Yeah.
It's kaiju and there's a healthy Ultraman fandom over here. Like when we showed Shin Ultraman, we sold out. We sold like over 150 people showed up for that. So
wow.
Yeah, no, there's definitely
What's New York, right? I mean, you got to imagine there's a shit ton of people there that like that.
A lot of nerds out there.
A lot of nerds.
I mean, bro, I was really impressed with the show when we were there. Like, I'm so proud of you. I was like, this is amazing. And all that sounds amazing. So it's getting bigger and better. What's the website people can check out?
KaijuBrooklyn.com. It's KAIJUBROOKLYN. We also have a discount hotel block. And
there you go. It's a fun time to visit New York, Brooklyn, late May, early
Where's
June.
this hotel?
It's a few blocks away, but you have to go through the website to put in the discount code, and we have a very limited amount of rooms. So I'd say get the rooms now before they sell out.
Plan your trip now, listener. Get your tickets. Get your plane tickets. Fun time.
We're gonna have some really fucking cool announcements coming up soon. So just stay tuned to our Instagram. Our Instagram is also Kaiju Brooklyn. Same thing with Facebook as well.
I will put links to all that in the episode description for the listener. Check it out. That's going to do it for us this week. Bellotti, thanks again so much. Always great to have you.
Of course, my pleasure.
Rugs, where can the listener find you?
Rug Boy Show on X, where I'll be reading people fighting about things. Yeah.
Twitter is crazy. Anthony, where can the people find you?
People find me. They can find me. I will be in, if we have any listeners in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, I'll be at a bachelor party in 2025 in there this weekend.
All right. First bachelor party of the year. Nice.
First one.
Hope everyone had a good New Year's. Check out our website. Of course, an episode description for all the links.
When this episode, I guess you're right.
It's coming out on the first
New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
right?
New Year's Day. It'll be. It'll already be 2025. We are
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. Hope it was safe. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I really don't give a shit. Hey, check your email for Nosferatu.
I got it now.
I like turtles.
I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Jock and Nerd.
I always love when he's eating a sandwich in that scene.
He's holding a sandwich.
Yelling at him.
He makes a white bread sandwich look delicious. There's like nothing on the sandwich.